Good morning. As the sun rises over Buckingham Palace, Britain prepares to celebrate 80 years since the end of the Second World War.
VE Day, one of the most significant moments in our country's history. Battlefields fell silent across Europe, and a weary world breathed again.
Hostilities will end officially at 1 minute after midnight tonight, Tuesday, the 8th of May.
Well, today we honour those who made the ultimate sacrifice for our country.
Germany, the enemy who drove all Europe into war, has been finally overcome.
Victory in Europe Day marked not just the end of the conflict, but the dawn of peace, resilience and remembrance, a spirit that endures today.
Well, GB News is live here at Buckingham Palace to witness 1,300 Armed Forces personnel marching through central London, showcasing the best of British pomp and pageantry.
Well, that includes the much-anticipated flypast, where the Royal Air Force will take to the skies over Buckingham Palace and the Mall.
Well, Ukrainian soldiers are set to join the procession, symbolising Britain's commitment to achieving peace on the world stage.
Huge crowds rejoiced on the streets after nearly 6 years of war. Today will be live across the country as Britain celebrates.
Well, in other news for you this morning, counter-terrorism police foil a suspected plot by Iranian terrorists that was reportedly just hours away from being launched.
Just ahead, the Prime Minister is told to raise taxes and spending in a bid to fight off Nigel Farage's Reform UK.
And in sport this morning, 50-year-old Mark Williams begins his comeback in the final of the World Snooker Championship, now trailing 11-6 to China's Zhao Jintong after being 7-1 down. Chelsea beat an after the Lord Mayor's show Liverpool, if you know what I mean, in their race for the Champions League. And Harry Kane's trophy drought is now over.
It's going to be a dry and sunny bank holiday Monday for many of us, with plenty of sunshine on the cards, although it will be feeling a little bit cooler than it did towards the end of last week. Join me later for the full forecast with all the details.
It's just gone 6 o'clock. I'm Stephen Dixon.
I'm Ellie Costello, and this is a very special VE Day GB News breakfast.
Well, welcome to the Palace this morning, the Palace on this beautiful, crisp, rather cold Monday morning as we begin these 4 days of celebrations to mark 80 years since victory in Europe.
Yeah, and what an incredible morning it is already. Preparations taking place here in the Palace. Already a very heavy police presence here. And we've even spotted people already lining the Mall, wrapped in blankets. I mean, brave, brave people.
Oh, they are, because it's really chilly this morning. After a glorious week of weather, today it's really cold. And it doesn't look like it's going to get a great deal warmer. However, the atmosphere will warm up here, and it's wonderful to be here. And it's wonderful to be able to share all this with you. There's going to be this incredible military procession just after 12 o'clock. And then we've got this, obviously, the incredible flypast, weather permitting, which will be something to behold. And we know is a favourite of the royal family. And so they're going to be watching it here, and you can watch it with them here on GB News. It's going to be quite a day, isn't it?
It is going to be quite a day, and how lucky are we to be here in amongst it all and be a part of history. It is going to be incredible, because we do it best, don't we? All the pomp and pageantry. We really do.
Very best of British. But of course, it is remembering that on the 8th of May, 1945, crowds flooded the streets of Britain to celebrate the end of 6 years of war.
At 1 minute after midnight tonight, Tuesday, the 8th of May.
Well, to mark the 80th anniversary of that historic milestone, 4 days of commemorations have been planned across the UK, and it all begins today.
Yes, in London, the cenotaph will be draped in Union flags to honour the fallen.
At midday, over 13,000 armed forces personnel and members of the public will take part in a procession from Whitehall to Buckingham Palace, followed by a very special flypast from the Red Arrows.
Well, the King and Queen are expected to make a special appearance on the balcony as well, but this year will mark the first time VE Day commemorations have taken place without any of the royals who stood there 80 years ago.
And once again, street parties will bring the country to life, just like they did 8 decades ago. And actually, there were street parties taking place over the weekend, weren't there already? We've seen such incredible scenes up and down the country, flags draped across town halls and houses. Just beautiful to see, isn't it? The whole country coming together to remember what happened 80 years ago.
And what is lovely as well is we know school children have really been getting involved in this VE Mail thing, with schools getting in touch with veterans and the veterans sharing their stories with young children, which is really important because it's not just about commemorating, it's about remembering, and it's about teaching the next generation.
Yeah.
Well, joining us here at the Palace, former Cabinet Minister and constitutional expert Sir Michael Ellis. Good to see you.
Hello, Steve.
Sir Michael.
Morning.
Morning, Ellie.
First and foremost, what do you make of today, now that this full day of celebrations is getting underway?
Well, I have to say the first thing I make is that it's a bit chilly.
It is a bit.
I've seen some police officers this morning in shirt sleeve order, and I think they're probably regretting not having coats on. We've had some nice weather, and I think it is going to be a nice day today, but it's certainly a chilly start. It's a very important day. This is frankly, part of the essence of this country. The victory in Europe, World War II, not only, of course, did it mark a complete change in the world order, but it marked the success of victory over fascism and over the enemy actions that had caused the loss of so many lives. Every family was affected, and it has, of course, been generations since then, but it's still part of the makeup of this country.
Yeah, and it's so important, isn't it, Sir Michael, to have, it is that combined feeling today of reflection and remembrance, but also celebration.
That's right, and I think that we will be seeing that, and of course the veterans that will be here recognise that the country is congratulating them for what they achieved, and at tremendous cost. And at, the reality of the matter is, of course, that the loss of life was very severe, and the damage caused to the country's economy and to its infrastructure was enormous. That, of course, has lasted 80 years, and it will last for longer. But in the psyche of the country, this is a significant moment, and it may be one of the last big anniversaries where we have veterans still able to take part.
Well, I was going to say, it is a change, isn't it? I mean, as we were saying, this is the first time that VE Day will be commemorated without a member of the royal family who actually remembers it 80 years ago.
That's right.
And of course, we're feeling that across the country.
We are.
We are. And so does that change our perspective on it significantly?
Perhaps a little bit. I mean, we will be seeing, I think, the Duke of Kent, His Royal Highness the Duke of Kent, who is 89. And of course, he was only a 9-year-old child at the time. But as you rightly say, Stephen, on the balcony of the palace later, we'll see the royal family. And it will be the very first time when none of the people who were there on the 8th of May 1945, none of the royals, will still be there. But there's a lot to mark today, a lot of history, a lot of celebration as well as commemoration. And one of the poignant things I think we will see is the cenotaph, which for the first time since 1920, when it was originally unveiled after World War I, it will be draped in Union flags in a way that we haven't seen since then.
Which is fascinating. I wonder why they've decided to do that, because when you look back at those pictures, it was stunning the way it was done.
Yes.
And I think in 1920 they used an enormous single flag that there are sort of newsreel footage of that moment where the King unveiled it. And I wonder whether they'll be doing the same thing now or lots of smaller flags. We'll have to see.
I mean, one thing for certain today, we are going, aren't we?
We do it really well.
We do.
We do it really well, and we're going to see the Household Cavalry, we're going to see the Grenadier Guards, we're going to see the Royal Air Force, the Royal Navy. Everyone's going to be represented, and of course there's some guests from Ukraine who are also going to be marching, so there's a lot to look forward to.
Yes, what do you make of that? I know we talked about this on Saturday morning, didn't we? But what do you make of the fact that we have others joining us?
Well, I think it's important, actually, and I think our armed forces appreciate it. One of the things that the British armed forces have been doing, together with a number of other countries, is something called Operation Interflex. Now, Operation Interflex is a training operation for the Ukrainian armed forces. And I think over 50,000 Ukrainian military personnel have been trained under Operation Interflex, including by the British Armed Forces. And so they've developed quite a strong bond and a strong friendship. And 11 officers from the Ukrainian Armed Forces are proudly preparing their uniforms right now. They're going to be in their own uniforms, and they're going to be marching under their flag with our British forces.
Yeah.
Well, you mentioned preparation there. I mean, we were seeing overnight rehearsals, weren't we, on Friday night, I believe, into the early hours of Saturday morning.
Indeed. Well, and of course, the soldiers will have been preparing their uniforms, and it takes quite a long time, and they're quite exacting standards.
They'll be fed up with the brasso, won't they?
Oh, they really will, and the shoe shine polish. But they do it extremely well, and their uniforms will be immaculate across the board, and we're looking forward to seeing that. We've got a lovely vantage point here in front of the palace, and the sun shining down.
What do you think of Britain's attitude to this sort of event, to our armed forces? Are we seeing the tide turning a little bit? Are we starting to become more proud to be British than perhaps we were, I don't know, a couple of decades ago?
Well, I certainly hope so, Stephen. I mean, we've got a lot to be proud about, and we have an amazing history, and a history that really affected in a very positive way dozens of countries around the world. We are, in fact, positioned right in front of the Victoria Memorial, and the Queen Victoria Memorial is taking a leading part today, because you can see there's a stand that's been set up there. And in fact, this memorial to Queen Victoria has played a part. It played a part in the late Queen's Golden Jubilee and Diamond Jubilee as well. It's very symbolic of British history and very proud British history. Queen Victoria sitting there looking down on us at the moment, and it's the iconography of that memorial is very important for our history.
Well, but it's also imperialistic, isn't it? Which for some people will be problematic.
I think you're right, Stephen, but not for me.
No.
I think we can be very proud of that. And Queen Victoria there, she's surrounded by statues of motherhood, of truth, of justice, and other depictions of constancy, the sort of thing that in the Victorian period they really appreciated. And I think we've lost that a bit, but I think we're getting it back.
Yeah, well, let's hope so. Yeah, I hope so. So, Michael, good to see you. We'll see you throughout the day here on GB News, so thank you very much indeed.
Thank you. Now
no, go on, darling.
the traditional VE Day flypast will take off just after 1:45 today.
Yeah, leading the formation, the iconic military aircraft, the Lancaster bomber, alongside some slightly more modern jets.
Then the Red Arrows will bring the finale as they paint the sky red, white and blue with their signature trails.
Well, you don't just have to be here in London. If you look up in the skies in Norfolk, Suffolk, Essex, Buckinghamshire, Cheshire or Oxfordshire, you might be lucky enough to catch a glimpse of it all.
Oh, well, let's speak now to the RAF's former Chief of Staff, Sir Michael Graydon. Good to see you this morning, Sir Michael. And for so many people, this will be the highlight of today.
Well, it'll be short and sweet, but I think it will be a highlight, so I agree with you.
Why is it become such an important part of our big celebrations, do you think?
Well, I don't think it's become. It's been really, if you go back at the end of the war, the flight paths there were huge. I think 1,000 aircraft flew over. We've been pushing the numbers ever since, of course, down to 23 today. But flight paths have been, I think, an intrinsic part of celebrations, and good. I think they should be.
Tell us a little bit about the preparation that goes on behind the scenes for the sorts of flypasts that we're going to see today. I mean, this has been going on for months.
I doubt if it's been going on for months, but I think it's the plans, the overall plans, but the actual practice for the flypast has probably been just the last week. The aircraft will get together, I think probably operating in or around Waddington in Lincolnshire, which of course is quite close to where the Lancaster that you mentioned is based, which is at RF Coningsby. And may I say, well, I think an imaginative flypast the RF have got together today, led by the Lancaster, whose contribution to World War II really can't be overstated. Incredible. When you read what Eisenhower had to say about Bomber Command, and if you actually look at what Albert Speer had to say and the damage it did to the Third Reich's capability to carry on the war, the Lancaster stands out as an incredible aircraft, and it's absolutely right and proper. It should be leading the flypast today.
There's something quite fascinating about the Lancaster bomber, isn't there? I mean, it has always held our imagination, and it does seem that certainly over latter years, and with Bomber Command being recognised more clearly, that it has re-entered our psyche.
You're absolutely right, and the fact that it has Bomber Command and the Lancaster, I think, epitomises it, has been recognised after the rather disgraceful behaviour at the end of World War II, with Bomber Command crews really being put aside. But their contribution to the success of World War II simply can't be overstated. So Lancaster out the front today, making a very, very good point.
And it is going to be very moving, isn't it, to see that historic aircraft flying alongside the modern aircraft of the Red Arrows.
Yes, and all the other ones. I mean, I think the RF put together, as I said, a really imaginative flypast. It's got the whole range of capability today. If you look down that line of aircraft that will fly across there, Lancaster in the front, followed by the transport and air-to-air refueling aircraft, which are doing a fantastic job all around the world today. And then the C-17, which has been with us for a long time, a real workhorse. And then you come along to the maritime patrol aircraft, thank heavens. We had a capability gap for a long time. We've now got a maritime patrol aircraft, and very good it is. And then what have we got after that? We've got the intelligence gathering aircraft, of course, and we've got the spooky aircraft, the rivet joint as it's called. We've got the Lightnings alongside it. Those are the stealth aircraft. Then the Red Arrows, and then the aircraft that's really doing a fantastic job around the world in support of our security interests, which is the Typhoon. So terrific cross-section of aircraft. They're the only ones who are missing really are the helicopter crews, who are very, very busy as always, and probably just not fast enough to keep up today, but they're in spirit, I hope, because they really are a very important part of the RAF.
I'm sure they will be here in spirit. Sir Michael Graydon, it's a pleasure to talk to you. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'm really looking forward to that. I think that'll be the highlight of the day.
Yeah,
so many people.
Absolutely.
Incredible to see.
And it's funny, isn't it? Because we do get very nostalgic about the Lancaster, quite right. But then also, for some reason, which I've never been able to put my finger on, the Red Arrows, I don't know what it is. You just see them.
Well, they're so iconic, aren't they?
Oh, honestly, it's just so exciting. And we're very lucky. We sometimes see them fly over the house when they're heading off to do displays and things. And it's just a real joy to see them. So that's going to be fantastic.
Yeah, and it's going to be great for people all around the country, as you say, when they come down to Buckingham Palace before that you'll be able to capture a glimpse in Suffolk and Essex and places like that. So the whole country can be involved.
Yes, keep your eyes to the skies this morning. You never know what you might see. Right, at 19 minutes past 6, it's time now for the Daily Reflection.
The GB News Daily Reflection.
I'm Mark Wilson, a Church of England vicar in West Bromwich. When I'm on the playground dropping off my kids at school, they're off playing on the running track. My kids, they will hear my voice when I call to them, but they don't listen to other people's voices though. Have you ever seen this with sheep? You can search it online and see videos where the shepherd calls to them and they listen. It's amazing. In this story we heard yesterday, Jesus says that he is the good shepherd. And he continues in John chapter 10 verse 14 and says, I am the good shepherd. I know my sheep, and my sheep, they know me. Sheep knows who will feed them, who will protect them. This is why Jesus' flock will come to him, because they know him. I love it when I see sheep listen to the farmer, because it reminds me of the one who came to protect me.
And what a day for reflection, actually.
Yeah.
Beautiful thoughts there. But I do think there's a lot to reflect about today and all week, actually. And it's not only about those people who sacrificed everything, it's those people who came back, it's the people who were left behind while it all went on. And it's how the country has pulled together ever since, and how we need to keep pulling together now. Maybe reaffirm our national identity, which surely cannot be a bad thing.
Well, it's a good reminder, isn't it, of the way that we should be and the way that things should be, and hopefully we can get back to that. And that sense of British pride as well that you touched upon. I mean, it was so lovely to get back to that. And even being able to see the flags out and about this week, how wonderful has that been? To see them draped on houses and in town halls. It'd be wonderful if it was always that way.
Yeah, it would. Wow. Anyway, look, if you want something to celebrate, how about this? A Great British Giveaway, biggest ever prize. And although it doesn't feel very summery first thing this morning, I'm guaranteeing you we're in for a very good summer this year.
Yes,
so how about swanning around the country, even elsewhere, in a camper van worth more than, say camper van, that's showing how old
motorhome. A four-berth
is what you call them these days. Worth more than £67,000 with £5,000 in tax-free cash in your pocket as well. It could all be yours. Here's how.
Courtesy of Marquis Leisure, you could be driving away with this brand new Elnag Baron 560 motorhome. It comfortably sleeps 4, comes with sky roof, integrated kitchen and bathroom, and is worth over £67,000. And that's not all, as we'll also give you a further £5,000 in tax-free cash to make sure that wherever this motorhome takes you, it takes you there in style. For another chance to win the lot, text WIN to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message, or text BONUS to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB13 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 6th of June. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand. Good luck.
Yes, best of luck to you. Now, do stay with us. Coming up, horses at Hyde Park Barracks are getting ready. Our reporter Adam Cherry is on the scene for us.
Yeah, but first, we're going to be telling you about counter-terrorism police foiling a suspected attack reportedly just hours away from being carried out. More coming up.
The royal family is an enduring symbol of tradition, unity and pride for Britain. At GB News, we celebrate what makes this country great. In our new royal newsletter series, you can join me, Cameron Walker, for Inside the Palace, an exclusive look every week that takes you beyond the gates and brings you the very latest from those at the heart of the monarchy. Never miss a royal moment again. Sign up now. Go to gbnews.com/royal newsletter and get the latest straight to your inbox.
We're proud to be GB News, the People's Channel. And as you know, we always love to hear your views. Now, there's a new way of getting in touch with us at gbnews.com/your-say. By commenting, you can be part of a live conversation and join our GB News community. You can even talk to me, Bev Turner, or any of the members of the GB News family.
It's Patrick Christie's Tonight, and here we do things differently.
It's explaining the absolute madness of this, doesn't it?
It's explosive.
I mean, this is very good.
It's lively.
850. Your government sat there, Sean, and it did nothing.
It's controversial.
And the Middle East has been in turmoil since before I was born.
It's everything you need to kickstart your evening.
Everyone's had their Weetabix tonight. I love to see it.
That's Patrick Christie's Tonight, weeknights from 9 p.m. only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Hi, I'm Michelle Dewberry, and my show is your opportunity to cut through all the noise and dive in headfirst to some robust debates. Ideas clash.
Situation, isn't it?
Because
the failure is...
You're deliberately avoiding my point. Nothing's held back.
And if you think this is the end of it, wait for more.
And we do not shy away from the difficult stuff.
Sometimes I want to shake people and say, if only you understood.
So join me on Jubes & Kerr weeknights at 6 p.m, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
I'm Christopher Hope. From pop stars to politicians, I'll interview anybody in a pub who's got a political opinion. Join me every Friday on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube or gbnews.com, or wherever you get your podcasts. This is GB News, the People's Channel.
This is Britain's Newsroom, where your voice matters.
It's just astonishing. With expert analysis and honest opinion, we don't just keep you informed.
We bring you unique perspectives you won't see anywhere else.
Can't argue with any of that. When the news happens, it happens here.
On Britain's Newsroom, weekdays from 9:30 a.m.
Only on GB News.
Good Afternoon Britain isn't just about us. The wonderful thing about this programme is it's about everyone watching. It's an interactive programme.
Well, there absolutely is something to see here, and we're going to be talking about it more.
Whether it's breaking royal news,
please bring us up to date.
Or indeed a particularly punchy speech in the House of Commons.
Very, very curious.
We bring it to you live, and then we bring you live reaction as well.
That's Good Afternoon Britain, weekdays from midday.
Only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
.26, we're down here at the Palace, as you know, as we mark the beginning of these 4 days of celebrations to mark VE Day 80. It is cold.
It is cold,
it's early
yes.
in the morning, though, so what do you expect? But look at that view behind us. The Palace, we've got the best position here.
We do.
So we will be able to see everything. The incredible parade of 1,300 Armed Forces personnel, which kicks off just after 12 o'clock.
Yeah.
And then we've got the flypast about 1:45, that sort of time, and obviously a great view of the balcony here, so we'll see the royals. It's just going to be an absolutely amazing day where hopefully, although the focus is here in London, you know, there is hopefully lots going on right around the country, and 4 days it will bring the country together.
And don't you think that is just what we need at this time? I mean, it's glorious to see everyone coming together. There were street parties over the weekend. Do let us know, actually, if you were involved in a street party over the weekend, or perhaps you're holding one today or in the next 4 days of commemorations. Do let us know, gbnews.com/you'll say. You might even be on the Mall already, because we can see a number of people who are wrapped up in their blankets. Can you see over there, Stephen?
Yes, there are.
Yeah, and wrapped up in hats, because it is a bit cold here this morning, but already here. I can see Union Jack flags. Can you see that? They're draping over the barriers here.
Lovely.
People arriving at 6 o'clock in the morning to get the very best spot for that fly past later on this afternoon. It's going to be wonderful, isn't it?
It's a really lovely thing. But look, there are some other things happening today. Let's tell you about a suspected terror attack, which has been foiled in what the Home Secretary has described as one of the biggest counter-terror operations in recent years.
Well, 5 men were arrested across numerous locations in England on Saturday, with the attack thought to be just hours away from being launched on British soil.
It's hugely disturbing. 3 Iranian men were also arrested in a separate investigation in London after fears that they would flee the country.
Well, let's speak now to Oscar Redrop, who joins us this morning. Good to see you, Oscar. And what do we understand about this suspected terror plot?
Well, as you rightly said, guys, I mean, this was, moments away, hours away from taking place, this suspected terrorist attack, which is hugely terrifying. I think in our heart of hearts, we know that these, terror plots probably happen quite often in the background and are sorted out in the background by our absolutely, and have no doubts about this, guys, our world-leading, world-class intelligence services who should be commended, on a day like today, probably more than ever. The suspected terror attack, it was 2 separate, linked, and it's caused, actually, because of the Iranian element to it. it has caused a lot of leaders like Farage to come straight out. He's very, very, very quick to it in the Telegraph exclusive story that came out this morning to say that, you know, organisations like the IRCG should be a prescribed terrorist. Should be prescribed as a terrorist group now in this country. Yvette Cooper has come out and commended the bravery, rightly, of both intelligence services, police officers, and when you read further in the reports, and again on a day like today, this is worth bearing in mind, but there were military personnel also involved in preventing this attack. You know, this is a reminder that defence, national security, and that sometimes imminent threat to the safety of people in this country is never far away. And I imagine in the House of Commons next week, tomorrow, sorry, I imagine we'll get a statement from the Home Secretary. And, I mean, it's terrifying just how quickly and how close, you know, a potential, you know, horrific attack this was. And we should be very, very, very grateful to those who prevented it from happening.
Yeah, we absolutely should. Of course, it does raise the spectre of state-sponsored terrorism, though, potentially here, Oscar. And that leads the question, doesn't it, as to whether, you know, should we be getting more involved in international affairs to deal with this, or maybe less involved to try and isolate ourselves from it? Is that even possible?
Well, look, I mean, as I said, you know, you have people like Farage now saying the IRGC should be a prescribed terrorist group at this point, and the justification for it not being, which I think feels increasingly diluted and weak by the second here, is that it would prevent us having back channels into Iran. But with the, you know, we have to remain, you know, relatively professional in a sense, and remember this is a suspected terrorist plot. But once that investigation starts to take hold and form, it may very well become increasingly clear that state-sponsored terrorism is absolutely the cause here. And it wasn't. I think it was the MI5 chief, I think in about October 2024, referenced just the uptick in state-sponsored foiled terrorism attacks that are happening on UK soil, or at least being planned to happen on UK soil. And it does make you think, you know, when you look at and I'm not being critical here of Yvette Cooper or the Home Office, but when you look at the list of priorities, and sometimes in politics and in Westminster, we get really distracted. This is a stark reminder that defence and security absolutely is, you know, almost bar none, the #1 priority. And it'll be interesting to see in the House of Commons, you know, the debate around this.
Yeah, well, that's a very good point. Oscar, thanks very much indeed. It is scary.
It is.
And it's incredible
Very
the work
alarming.
that he's done. I mean, but if you are dealing with and potentially the Iranian Revolutionary Guard here, I mean, should it be prescribed as a terror organisation?
Well, Labour said that they'd do it, didn't they? In opposition, they said that they would prescribe it as a terror group, but it hasn't happened yet.
But it is.
So whether it will be looked at again now remains to be seen.
Don't know, but Oscar makes a very good point. You know, security is so important. It is a more dangerous world. It is becoming more dangerous at the moment for whatever reason. And investment in our armed forces, in our security, and the great men and women we shall see here, 1,300 representatives parading round the Queen Victoria Memorial in front of the Palace today, you know, and we salute them and we take our hats off to them and we celebrate the incredible work of all those 80 years ago. And yet we've got to keep supporting them, haven't we? And that means money, resources, support when they leave or they're injured, support for those families who lose loved ones. It's all about that, and it's got to be a whole package. And that costs money.
It certainly does. Well, we're actually going to be speaking to Al Khans, who is the Minister for Veterans, a little bit later on in the programme. So we'll be able to put those sorts of questions to him about what's being done to support our veterans now, because it's right that we look after them.
Right, it is 6:34. Now, if you are unfortunate enough to be working today and you're heading out, here's the traffic and travel update.
Crash Law 24 sponsors GB News Traffic and Travel Report.
Good morning. This is the latest AI travel news from gbnews.com. The M74 is experiencing disruptions in both directions between Junction 11 and Junction 9 due to a contraflow system. The Junction 10 southbound on-slip remains closed, so drivers should follow the local signed diversions and anticipate extended journey times. On the M4 eastbound, resurfacing work at Junction 37, pile, has led to the closure of the exit slip road and the hard shoulder. Diversions are in effect to mitigate this inconvenience. Motorists should stay up to date at gbnews.com to navigate today's travel challenges effectively. For more travel news, go to gbnews.com.
Crash Law 24 sponsors GB News Traffic and Travel Report.
Do stay with us. Still to come, Harry Kane wins his first trophy. More on that and the sport next with Paul Coit.
The royal family is an enduring symbol of tradition, unity and pride for Britain. At GB News, we celebrate what makes this country great. In our new royal newsletter series, you can join me, Cameron Walker, for Inside the Palace, an exclusive look every week that takes you beyond the gates and brings you the very latest from those at the heart of the monarchy. Never miss a royal moment again. Sign up now. Go to gbnews.com/royal newsletter and get the latest straight to your inbox.
It's Patrick Christie's Tonight, and here we do things differently.
It's explaining the absolute madness of this, doesn't it?
It's explosive.
I mean, this is very good.
It's lively.
850. Your government sat there, Sean, and he did nothing.
It's controversial.
And the Middle East has been in turmoil since before I was born.
It's everything you need to kickstart your evening.
Everyone's had their Weetabix tonight. I love to see it.
That's Patrick Christie's Tonight, weeknights from 9 p.m. Only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Hi, I'm Michelle Dewberry, and my show is your opportunity to cut through all the noise and dive in headfirst to some robust debates. Ideas clash.
Situation,
No,
Because the failure is...
You're deliberately avoiding my point. Nothing's held back.
And if you think this is the end of it, wait for more.
And we do not shy away from the difficult stuff.
Sometimes I want to shake people and say, if only you understood.
So join me on Jubes & Kerr weeknights at 6 p.m, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Westminster, the ultimate clique.
And you're fighting like rats in a sack.
But here on the Camilla Tominey Show, we ask the questions the establishment media is too scared to ask.
OK, let me ask you a straight question, because I know you're a straight-talking politician.
Whether it's net zero, illegal immigration or law and order, nothing is off limits.
You had the power then.
Yeah, as I
and
say,
now you've lost it.
That's the Camilla Tominey Show, a politics show that's fearless.
But no, let me finish my question if you don't mind, because it is my show.
Sundays at 9:30, only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
No matter the state it's in, this is our nation. Join me, Jacob Rees-Mogg, for a genuine, honest discussion on where we have been, where we are going, and where we are with the people who set the direction. That's State of the Nation every Monday and Tuesday at 8 o'clock. Only on GB News, the People's Channel.
Good Afternoon Britain isn't just about us. The wonderful thing about this programme is it's about everyone watching. It's an interactive programme.
Well, there absolutely is something to see here, and we're going to be talking about it more.
Whether it's breaking royal news,
Please bring us up to date.
or indeed a particularly punchy speech in the House of Commons,
Very, very curious.
we bring it to you live, and then we bring you live reaction as well.
That's Good Afternoon Britain, weekdays from midday.
Only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Oh, good morning. We just missed a police dog.
And a sniffer dog.
A sniffer dog, yes.
Oh,
very nice. It's
very
lovely.
cute.
Unfortunately, the officer involved is a bit shy. They don't like to come and they don't like to
Chat
come and
to
talk.
us.
Well, they've got their own security to think about.
They've got
But
quite an important job to do, to be fair.
They have, but the little dog going around looking for I mean, explosives and things. I would
Yeah.
think, which is all very serious, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, we're
But,
safe here. He just sniffed on by, didn't he?
But you know, I always find these sort of things really reassuring.
Yes.
That they're getting on with it, and they're just, you know, all these sort of levels of security are in place. But why we need to celebrate even today, I know it's about the armed forces today, but all those emergency services actually need to be celebrated, and I'm a big supporter of the police. I think we need to do more to celebrate the police force.
And there's certainly a heavy police presence today, aren't they?
Yeah.
They're all here, already
Working
preparing and
their socks
working
off.
hard, exactly.
Someone who always works his socks off is our very own Paul Coit. Good morning, Mr. Coit.
Good morning.
What have you got for us in
Was
the
the
world of
dog
sport?
woofing at you? Was the dog barking at you? You're okay, right?
He was very happy with us, Coity. He just
That's
sniffed
good.
on by.
And he just moved on. I'll tell you one thing, though. What I do notice, though, when looking at Buckingham Palace, years ago, as you probably know, I used to be a London tour guide. I used to stand on the top of the double-decker buses, so on the left-hand side, on the right-hand side, used to do all that. And we weren't allowed to go past the front of Buckingham Palace. Do you know why that was? Because the height of the double-decker bus, you could look in to the royal quarters. So no buses are allowed to go past there because what you could see through the top deck of the bus.
Oh.
Something for you.
I like that. Oh,
There you
no,
go. It's true.
You've got me intrigued, Paul.
It's true. So you just like all this. You can't do all that. Right, shall I tell you about some of the sport that's going on?
Yes, please.
World Snooker to the World Snooker Championship. It's the final. Mark Williams, who's the three-time winner. So he's 50. He's the oldest player to appear in a final, and there's Mark there, and he's three-time winner against Zhao Jintong. Now, Zhao Jintong from China would be the first Chinese player to win it. He's 28 years old, although he does live in Sheffield, but this is not mentioned too much, the fact that he was banned for 20 months over the match-fixing scandal that happened. Now, at the moment, Zhao leads 11-6. He was 7-1 up, but this looks like it is going to be one heck of a World Snooker Championship. And there's so many people that are now more into this final, probably because the idea of Mark winning it and being 50 years old, it just makes it a really romantic final. So anyway, it carries on today, and it will finish tonight, and I have a feeling it's going to keep me up very late. But Zhao Jintong against Mark Williams. I should mention football. Chelsea beat Liverpool. Liverpool were a little lacklustre, but then again, it was like after the Lord Mayor's show, because after winning the title last week, they lost 3-1, but Chelsea were very good and deserved their win. Brentford beat Manchester United 4-3. Spurs drew 1-1 with West Ham, but they've got bigger fish to fry on Thursday. And I should mention Jack Draper as well. Jack Draper, who is the British #1 tennis player and has now moved up to the world #5. He played in the Madrid Open on clay against Norway's Casper Ruud and lost 7-5, 3-6, 6-4. But like I mentioned, it makes him #5 in the world, which puts him now above Novak Djokovic. So things are very good for him. Finally, Harry Kane. Harry has a trophy. If anybody deserves a trophy, it's Harry Kane. Over in Bayern Munich, I think we probably have some scenes of his celebrations. 14-year wait for a trophy is over, so nobody can throw it in his face. And again, second season at Bayern Munich, there he is celebrating. He's not actually celebrating on the pitch because Bayern played Leipzig on Saturday, and it was expected that they were probably going to win because they were 2-1 up. Harry was actually not playing because he'd had a yellow card, too many yellow cards, and so he was having to watch it from the stands. Went down, pitch side, ready to celebrate, and then Leipzig scored. So then they had to put it on pause. So anyway, yesterday, Bayer Leverkusen, who were their main opposition, drew 2-2 at Freiburg, and then it gave the Bundesliga to Bayern Munich, and there's Harry celebrating because now he has a trophy to his name, which means, Harry, you are now safe to come back to Tottenham Hotspur, and you can come and play with us again. So there we go. That's the latest.
Well, let's hope so. Let's hope he comes back now, Coity. That would be great.
Wouldn't that be lovely? That would be lovely. So anyway, don't get on the double-decker buses, not too high, and it looks fantastic there. I wish I was there with you.
No, we
I
missed
wish you were here. All right, Paul, thanks very much. I've just noticed on that on the shot, you can see that I've got my hand up. But I'm trying to keep Ellie's hands warm.
My hand's cold.
Because she's really, really cold. So there's, in case your husband's watching this morning, don't worry. You're all right. I'm just doing my duty.
Thank you. Well, if you want to know a bit more about the sun, and we would here, wouldn't we? We'd like some
Please.
sun. Here's the forecast for some of the top European destinations.
Ready to soak up that holiday sunshine?
Won't we need some cover?
No worries. All sorted.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations Forecast.
Despite some dry and sunny weather across parts of the UK, it's a different story across parts of Europe, with heavy showers and thunderstorms for many of us, particularly across parts of Spain, southern parts of France and parts of Italy too, seeing some heavy thunderstorms throughout Tuesday afternoon. Southern parts of Greece and Turkey probably holding on to the best of the sunshine through Tuesday afternoon. Highs here around 26 degrees, but there will be some sunshine on offer for many of us over the next couple of days, and highs in Tenerife around 24 or 25 degrees.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations forecast.
Still to come for you this morning on this very special VE Day breakfast. Coming up, we're going to talk to former editor of the Daily Star, Dawn Neeson. I can't get rid of that woman. Anyway, she's going to take us through the papers right here outside the palace.
We're proud to be GB News, the People's Channel, and as you know, we always love to hear your views. Now, there's a new way of getting in touch with us at gbnews.com/yoursay. By commenting, you can be part of a live conversation and join our GB News community. You can even talk to me, Bev Turner, or any of the members of the GB News family.
Good afternoon, Britain. Weekdays from midday.
A monumental breakthrough. Scientists have revealed that they've found strong evidence of alien life. Just 124 light years away.
Which is quite far, isn't it? Astronomers from Cambridge University have detected signs of molecules that do indicate life, so we may not be alone after all.
Well, joining us now to explain what on earth this exciting story is, the astronomer and broadcaster Mark Thompson joins us. Mark, just how important is this discovery?
It's incredibly important. For so many years now, we've been looking for some signs that we're not alone in the universe. The universe is a massive place. It's often been said that there's more stars in the universe than there are grains of sand on Earth. So, it's a big place. And to think that we're the only intelligent species in the entire cosmos is difficult to understand. And the discovery that's just been announced is that there's something called dimethyl sulfide, which is an element made of hydrogen, carbon and sulfur, which at the moment we think the only possible way that could be there is through some form of primitive living organisms.
So this is because it's a very complicated gas to sort of combine together. There's no way there could be some sort of volcano churning this stuff out. It has to be some sort of biological life form as the most likely explanation.
Yeah, absolutely. There are other elements, but this particular element, dimethyl sulfide, at the moment, the only process we know of that can produce it is life. Now, of course, still in early stages of this discovery, and we still need to do a lot of work to see if there's any other processes we can identify that can produce it. But for now, the only thing we know of is life, and so the only explanation therefore is that it's life, but it is still early days.
GB News, the People's Channel.
I'm Christopher Hope. From pop stars to politicians, I'll interview anybody in a pub who's got a political opinion. Join me every Friday on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube or gbnews.com, or wherever you get your podcasts. This is GB News, the People's Channel.
This is Britain's Newsroom, where your voice matters.
It's just astonishing. With expert analysis and honest opinion, we don't just keep you informed.
We bring you unique perspectives you won't see anywhere else.
Can't argue with any of that. When the news happens, it happens here.
On Britain's Newsroom, weekdays from 9:30 a.m.
Only on GB News.
All right, it's 6:48. Time to see what's in the papers for you this morning with former editor of the Daily Star and my often colleague host, Dawn Neeson. It's nice to see you down here.
I'm going to come back and haunt you. Yeah, lovely to see you.
I like your scarf, Dawn.
Thank you very much. What an amazing day to be here as well.
It's lovely, isn't it?
Backdrop, absolutely.
All right, should we kick up? It's interesting because a lot of the stories in the papers are what we were covering on the show yesterday.
Very much so.
However, the Telegraph's really picked up on this dog whistle quote, which we led on yesterday.
Yeah, this is Lucy Powell, leader of the Commons, obviously making that horrendous comment on BBC Radio 4 when Tim Montgomery mentioned the grooming Gangs documentary, and she goes, "Oh, that dog whistle issue."
You're going to blow that little trumpet again.
Exactly. In an appalling, patronising way she said it as well. And she apologised straight away. She said, "No, I didn't mean to demean the issue. Obviously, the girls being abused is a terrible issue. It was a heated debate." And nobody's fallen for that apology. Absolutely nobody. Yesterday on GB News, we interviewed the father of one of the girls that was involved, a victim of the grooming gangs. And honestly, Stephen, he was absolutely devastated at what Lucy Palace had to say. And it doesn't matter what political commentators say, what other politicians have to say, it is what the families say.
Yeah.
It is what the families and the girls, and what she said, what it means to them, it was devastating. Because they've interpreted it as, this is how politicians, and in particular the Labour government, who won't hold that National Inquiry, remember, this is how they really feel about this issue. So her apology hasn't helped anything, and there are still calls for her to resign today. She has gone very quiet on the issue. She's said to be absolutely mortified. But I think Keir Starmer will have to say something now, because this isn't going away. It was appalling.
And it's that kind of attitude that meant that these girls went unprotected for so many years, that this was allowed to run rampant as an issue for decades.
Ellie, exactly. It's as soon as you mention it, it's you know, dog whistle for the Red Meat Brigade. No, it's not. We're talking about the fate of thousands of young girls. And Ellie, it's still going on to this day.
Yeah.
It's just an appalling situation. So that is a story that's going to run on all week, I'm afraid.
Yeah. Let's have a look at the Times, shall we, Dawn? Fight off reform with higher taxes and spending. This is what Keir Starmer's being told.
Well, I'm not sure this is a great plan. I'm not sure what they should do, to be honest with you. But, yeah, so Keir Starmer must tear up Labour's pledge not to raise taxes to see off the threat from Nigel Farage and reform. Basically, this is Louise Hay, who has attacked the Prime Minister over the welfare reforms, you know, the benefits reforms as well. And she's saying, well, you know, you've pledged not to raise taxes, but we have to, because we can't carry on cutting benefits, we can't carry on doing all the things that Labour said they wouldn't do. They're punishing, you know, I think the winter heating, the winter fuel allowance was the very worst thing they could have done, that's doing that. So Louise is saying that, you know, we have to start raising taxes. And yeah, I get that's one way of taking on reform, by actually, you know, doing what Labour meant to do and caring for the poor and the vulnerable. But are people actually going to vote for you know, people raising taxes again?
Well, not when part of reform's strategy is to cut taxes.
It's to cut taxes.
It doesn't really
Reform
challenge
haven't
them.
explained where the money's going to come from when they've cut the taxes. But I mean, you know, the devil's always in the details, isn't it, with politics?
Now, I've got to say, you've had your busy day. You did 2 shows yesterday.
Yes.
How are you feeling, babe?
Oh, Dole,
I'm
feeling
Hon?
Dole, that's
Dole, that's
phrase,
me,
isn't it?
that's
Ellie?
my one.
Yeah, I always think lovely or gorgeous. Yeah, no, absolutely, but you can't do that. Jen said, don't do pet names anymore. Well, they do pet names, but it's more likely to be bro. Like bro, how you hanging, bro? Yeah, Jen said, I'm not using pet names anymore, such as babe and hun and Dole. I'm sorry, Ellie, because they're old-fashioned.
Oh, you're old-fashioned.
Ellie, you're actually finished at the grand old age of 30-something. So, but it's a poll of 2,000 people born between 1997 and 2012, and they are saying that all the names that we used to use, treacle, chick...
You like treacle?
You like treacle, and snookums.
Snookums. I forgot that one.
Weird.
Yeah. But what about... I mean, if you live in Nottingham, everyone calls you Duck.
I know.
I think it's lovely.
I like it, yeah. And also Sugar and Hun.
Yeah.
Right, Hun? They're all outdated. But yeah, they are replacing it with bro and mate and bestie.
Don't you love it when you go up north and everyone calls you love?
Yeah.
We're in a cafe and stuff. All right, love.
Yeah, I say
think
love
it's so
a lot.
lovely.
And I say darling. And I call you darling.
I think it's so nice.
Yeah.
It's endearing, isn't it? It's warm.
I think it's
affectionate.
lovely. And yeah, but evidently it's old-fashioned and they think it's a bit sexist as well.
Well, they're missing out.
Yeah, I know.
I don't know what's wrong with these people.
But the big question of the day, Stephen, is, are you a mummy's boy?
Well, I am very... I love my mum. I really, really love my mum.
You're very close, actually.
But I'm my dad.
Well, that makes sense, because mummy's boys are more successful, aren't they?
Yeah,
according to the Daily Mail.
Yeah. When's he going to get successful?
Mummy's
boys, yeah. People that have a very good, close, loving relationship with their mums are more successful in life, more charming, just generally lovely people, Stephen.
Oh, really?
And it all makes sense, because you're very close to your mummy.
I am, yeah. Well, but both of them, so I don't know what that means, because we've got a really lovely family.
Doesn't actually mention dads. I feel a bit sorry for dads. What is it matter if you're daddy's boy? It doesn't say that.
Right, Dawn, we'll see you later on. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank
Next
you.
on, here's the weather with Ellie.
Heavy showers first thing will be followed by a warm, cosy day. Boxed boilers, sponsors of weather on GB News.
Good morning, welcome to your latest GB News weather from the Met Office. There's a bit of a chilly start to Bank Holiday Monday today, but there's going to be plenty of sunshine on offer, but it will be feeling a little bit cooler than it did towards the end of last week, all thanks to high pressure across the UK. The only exception to the dry and sunny weather will be across the very far southeast of England, where we could see some showers, perhaps one or two of these heavy in places. But for the majority of us, plenty of dry weather around, plenty of blue skies and plenty of sunshine too. With that sunshine and with light winds, it's going to be feeling fairly pleasant. Temperatures in the south a little above average, 16, 17, perhaps 18 degrees. Close to average further north, though, around 13 or 14 degrees. And always feeling just a little bit cooler across the eastern coast with that onshore breeze. Across the northern half of the country, as we head through Monday evening, it's going to stay dry. One or two isolated showers affecting Shetland and Orkney through Monday evening, but for the most part, plenty of unbroken sunshine to end the day here. A little bit more cloud across parts of Northern Ireland, maybe Northern England too, but staying dry as we head through Monday evening. And any showers that we see across the very far south gradually starting to ease through Monday evening. So for much of England and Wales, it's going to be a dry end to Monday as well. As we then head through Monday night and into the start of Tuesday, plenty of dry weather around, plenty of clear spells on offer, and that likely to lead to quite a widespread frost across the country, perhaps as low as -3 or -4 in places. The exception again being the very far north and northwest of Scotland, where we could see a bit more cloud, but temperatures dropping down into the mid or high single figures, so that does mean quite a chilly start to the day on Tuesday across the board. But it will be a dry and bright start to the morning for many of us. A little cloud feeding in across eastern parts of England as we go through Tuesday morning, staying a little cloudy across the northwest too, but for much of us, plenty of sunshine, plenty of blue skies on offer again, and with those light winds, it'll be feeling pleasant in that sunshine. Again, in the south, we could see highs of 16, 17, perhaps 18 degrees, and even highs of 16 or 17 degrees across parts of Scotland and Northern Ireland too.
There will be a light breeze in the morning, leading to a warm front. Boxed heat pumps, sponsors of weather on GB News.
Crash Law 24 sponsors GB News Traffic and Travel Report.
Good morning, this is the latest AI travel news from gbnews.com. Motorists on the M74 should be aware of contraflow restrictions between Junction 11 and Junction 9, impacting both directions. The southbound on-slip at Junction 10 is closed, requiring drivers to follow marked diversions. These measures are likely to extend journey times. On the M4 eastbound at Junction 37, resurfacing work has closed the exit slip road and hard shoulder. Diversions guide road users around affected areas. We advise staying up to date at gbnews.com for news on these developments. For more travel news, go to gbnews.com.
Crash Law 24 sponsors GB News Traffic and Travel Report.
You could be the next big winner on the road in this brand new Alnag Baron 560 motorhome, courtesy of Marquis Leisure. Imagine the fun you could have in this luxurious home from home worth over £67,000. We'll also give you £5,000 in tax-free cash to make your next getaway a great one. And it could be all yours. For another chance to win the lot, text WIN to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message. Or text bonus to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB13 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 6th of June. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand.
In the GB Newsroom, we bring you the news as it happens.
With our team of dedicated journalists across the UK,
we're ready to keep you up to date with what's happening every half an hour, every single day. Bulletins here on GB News,
the People's Channel,
Britain's news channel.
Headliners on GB News 11 PM every night. It's got 3 top comedians going through the next day's newspapers so you don't have to read them, which is great.
That's a good point. He's lying. Maybe he's not lying.
That's Headliners every night from 11 PM and 5 AM as well on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Join me, Nana Okoye, for an informative, interactive news programme with a difference. It's fun.
No, he didn't say that, Dave.
I'm so surprised.
I think there's an element of truth to that.
Join me from 3 PM every weekend, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Good morning. As the sun is rising over Buckingham Palace, Britain prepares to celebrate 80 years since the end of the Second World War.
VE Day, one of the most significant moments in our country's history. Battlefields fell silent across Europe and a weary world breathed again.
Hostilities will end officially at 1 minute after midnight tonight, Tuesday, the 8th of May.
Well, today we honour those who made the ultimate sacrifice for our country.
Germany, the enemy who drove all Europe into war, has been finally overcome.
Victory in Europe Day marked not just the end of the conflict, but the dawn of peace, resilience and remembrance, a spirit that endures today.
GB News is live here at Buckingham Palace as we witness 1,300 armed forces personnel marching through central London later, showcasing the very best of British pomp and pageantry.
Well, that includes the much-anticipated flypast, where the Royal Air Force will take to the skies over Buckingham Palace and the Mall.
Ukrainian soldiers are set to join the procession as well, symbolising Britain's commitment to achieving peace on the world stage.
Well, huge crowds rejoiced on the streets after nearly 6 years of war. Today we'll be live across the country as Britain celebrates.
Yes, excitement building here on the Mall outside Buckingham Palace as the sun begins to rise and the very first of the most patriotic Brits gather for what is certainly going to be a very special day indeed.
Well, in other news this morning, counter-terror police foil a suspected plot by Iranian terrorists that was reportedly just hours away from being launched.
Just ahead, the Prime Minister is told to raise taxes and spending in a bid to fight off Nigel Farage's Reform UK.
And in sport this morning, 50-year-old Mark Williams begins his comeback in the final of the World Snooker Championship. He's now trailing 11-6 to China's Xiao Jintong after being 7-1 down in the first session. Chelsea beat, after the Lord Mayor's show, Liverpool in their race for the Champions League. And also Harry Kane. His trophy drought is now over.
It's going to be a dry and sunny bank holiday Monday for many of us, with plenty of sunshine on the cards, although it will be feeling a little bit cooler than it did towards the end of last week. Join me later for the full forecast with all the details.
It has just gone 7 o'clock. I'm Stephen Dixon.
I'm Ellie Costello, and this is a very special VE Day GB News breakfast.
Good morning to you. You've got your flag out.
I do. I've got my flag ready. You've got one as well.
I have. Let me thank you
There
very
you
much
are.
indeed. Here we go. Let's wave our flag.
And isn't this glorious? Isn't it just glorious?
It's chilly.
The palace, I mean, it is chilly, but the sun is up now over the palace. It's just wonderful, isn't it?
It's lovely to be here, but actually the whole point of this is it's all around the country.
Yes.
Betty has been in touch. Morning, Betty, who says bunting is going up later for our neighbours' get-together, which they're having on Thursday, which is, of course, the 8th of May,
Yes.
when we actually mark this celebration. I don't know where you are, Betty, but wherever it is, I'm sure you'll have a great time.
Yeah, the Jensen family have also been in touch saying, we're getting the bunting ready. Enjoy your show today, both of you. And we
Yes,
are
we will
enjoying
do.
it. It's amazing to be here.
And My Zill says, what a fantastic show celebrating the United Kingdom. And it is all about celebrating the country, the people, those who are in the armed forces and those who stayed at home and kept the country running during this period of war. And I mean, everything that went on and how we got the country back together. And it's not just that, actually. It's about where we are today, because
Yes.
it's all seen through the prism of 2025, isn't it? And perhaps we do need to be a bit more patriotic, a bit more proud of our country, proud of being British. What is wrong with that?
No.
We've achieved some great things.
And it is so heartening, isn't it? I don't know about you, but to see the flags and to see the people here, those patriots already lining the streets of the Mall, who are just so excited for what they're going to see today. And it feels like we don't do that very often in this country. You get a little bit on St George's Day, don't you? But VE Day is one of the only days of the year where people do come out and show their flags with pride.
Yeah, and of course it is a very special anniversary.
It
this
is.
80th anniversary, because it is on the 8th of May 1945 that crowds flooded Britain's streets to celebrate the end of 6 long years of war.
Hostilities will end officially at 1 minute after midnight tonight, Tuesday, the 8th of May.
Well, to mark the 80th anniversary of that historic milestone, 4 days of commemorations have been planned across the UK, and it all begins today.
Well, in London, the cenotaph will be draped in Union flags to honour the fallen.
Yes, at midday, over 1,300 armed forces personnel and members of the public will take part in a procession from Whitehall to Buckingham Palace. In fact, we're seeing on the screen now those overnight rehearsals that took place over the weekend.
Then we've got this incredible flypast led by a Lancaster bomber and a whole host of other aircraft as well, and followed up at the end by the iconic Red Arrows.
Yeah, that's going to be such a sight, isn't it? The King and Queen also expected to make a special appearance on the balcony. But this year will mark the first time that VE Day commemorations have taken place without any of the royals who stood there 80 years ago.
And once again, street parties will bring the country to life, just like they did 80 years ago.
Well, joining us now throughout the morning here at Buckingham Palace is former Cabinet Minister and constitutional expert Sir Michael Ellis. Good to see you this morning, Sir Michael. And what
Hello.
a day this is going to be.
Oh, amazing day. And we just heard the wonderful tones of Winston Churchill there. And, of course, it brings back memories for so many people of Churchill's impact on the nation. He really was a colossus of the century, really. And that generation know how much they owed to Churchill. And it's recognised today, actually, because Timothy Spall, the actor, who I think has played Churchill before, he's going to be reading out the speech that Churchill gave that actually announced that VE Day would be happening on the 8th of May, 1945. And it looks like he might be doing that in Whitehall, where Churchill gave a speech to the crowds during the war in 1945. So that's something to look forward to.
I mean, that will be a really lovely, poignant thing, because
Yes.
it gives us a chance to almost feel like we were there.
It does, it does. And somebody who actually was there, Stephen, was a veteran who's going to be also taking part. He's going to be sort of starting the parade. He's 100 years old.
Wow.
Mr. Kennett, I believe his name is, and he is going to be handed the Torch of Peace from the Commonwealth War Graves Commission. And that torch is, of course, the symbol of peace following World War II. And then the procession of the military will begin. The General Officer commanding London District, Major General James Bowder, will be leading the way in his cocked hat, riding a horse called Jumping Jack, Stephen.
Let's hope he doesn't do too much jumping.
No jumping today, but that's what he's called, apparently, and he's going to be leading the 1,300 military personnel from a very wide variety of regiments, and of course the Royal Navy is going to be well represented, the Royal Air Force is going to be well represented, and foreign military forces from Ukraine as well. So it's really going to be an action-packed day today.
I like the fact that with, obviously, when we do these ceremonials, that we often see the Household Cavalry, and we're seeing the Blues and Royals pretty close to the front.
The Lifeguards.
From the Household Division. Yes. But the Blues and Royals are going to be ahead of the Lifeguards, according to this, which, for personal reasons, I have to, I have to celebrate. So well done, Blues and Royals, and all, if you're preparing for that today. Best of luck to you.
Absolutely.
I've got my own biases, you know.
Well, you're entitled to that. But of course, they'll be preparing their uniforms right now. The Blues and Royals, and of course the Lifeguards, but also the King's Troop of the Royal Horse Artillery. And it's an interesting fact that they used to be called the Riding Troop, not the King's Troop. And King George VI, part of whose speech you just heard there in your intro, he went and visited the riding troop after World War II, 1947, and he crossed out the name Riding and he put King's Troop because he was very proud of them and he wanted them to be renamed the King's Troop. And when our late Queen, Elizabeth II, came to the throne in 1952 after her father had passed away, she ordered that it not be changed to the Queen's Troop, that it be kept with the name the King's Troop of the Royal Horse Artillery, and it's still got that name now.
Oh, well, that's nice. It's these little nuggets of information that we need to know, because I mean you do wonder why it was never changed to the Queen's Troop.
That's right, and it was because the Queen ordered that to commemorate her father and the decision that he made, they keep that name, and they've still proudly got that name now. Their uniform, by the way, dates from 1855, so it hasn't changed very much since then.
Yeah. I mean, talking about Queen Elizabeth, it is very sad, isn't it? It's the passing of time, isn't it?
Oh,
that
absolutely.
This is the first time that we're going to see a balcony appearance from the King and Queen today, and there won't be a member of the royal family that was there on VE Day 18 years ago.
That's right, and it is a moment that has passed, isn't it? But Her Majesty gave so much service, duty, devotion to this country, and as I think the King is now, and of course the reality is that her reign, the longest reign in the 1,000-year history of this island nation, really was something that we can all be proud of. She did such an amazing job, and she was on that balcony even for the Platinum Jubilee, 70 years after her accession, and she remembered the war very well. The story is that she used to go around Buckingham Palace turning the lights off when they were left on, because she was brought up in that World War II era where, you know, the bath water could only be so high, the lights had to be conserved, and she maintained that throughout her long life.
See, what I find interesting, though, is, although, I mean, the monarchy is changing, the king is different to his mother, and yet, when it comes to the devotion, well, not just to the country, but to the armed forces and the men and women who serve and everything else, that is so palpable.
Very
it's right
important.
there.
It's absolutely so important to the King and the royal family, and that is something that he does have in common with the late Queen. The impact for the royal family and their connection with the military is just key. And Ellie, one of the things that isn't really widely recognised is that privately, the King and members of the royal family will write to the regiments that they are associated with, either to mark commemorations of things or if there have been tragedies or accidents. And there's a personal bond and a personal connection, not just with the household division, which is particularly important as if you like, bodyguards to the royal family and to the sovereign, but actually to all the military. The bond is very strong there. And I know that one of the other things the King does have in common with the late Queen is his work ethic and his sense of duty. We can see that now.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Michael, good to see you. Thank
Great
you very much indeed.
Thank you. I was reading about the late Queen this morning, and she said one of the best nights of her life was VE Day.
Yes, they snuck out, didn't
they? Were allowed to sneak out and be amongst the crowd.
Her and Margaret.
Her and Margaret, yes. And she said it was just incredible being right here on the Mall. I mean, it's incredible to think, isn't it, 80 years ago, a young Princess Elizabeth, as she would have been at the time, right here on VE Day.
Letting her hair down.
Yeah.
It's a nice thought.
It is a nice thought.
Well, of course, crowds are beginning to gather down the Mall ahead of today's military procession, which doesn't kick off for another 5 hours or so, and then the fly past a couple of hours after that. Ben Leo is there for us already, mingling away. Morning, Ben.
Good morning, Stephen, Ellie and viewers at home. Yes, the excitement building here on the Mall, just a stone's throw from you guys at Canada Gate. If you look behind me, the stage is set. These guys here on the very front row of the Mall have front row tickets, the VIP seats, if you will, because exactly there, where those blue chairs are, is where the royal family will gather and sit to watch the parade, which kicks off at around midday. And if we spin round here, what a sight to behold if you love Britain. The Union flag drapes all along the Mall, running all the way down. And yeah, crowds gathering. Some people have been here since yesterday, camping overnight. We've got a couple here, Karen and your boy Jack. Good morning to you both. How are you feeling? Are you tired?
A little bit, yeah.
It's an early start, isn't it? How long have you been here?
We've been here about half an hour. We got up about 4:30. Got just after 5 train from Essex.
And you're decked out in the hats, I can see. Why is it so important for you to be here today?
Jack absolutely loves watching soldiers and the horses and everything, don't you? Like watching.
And are you excited, Jack?
Yeah.
Do all your friends know you're here today?
Yeah.
I bet they're a bit jealous, aren't they?
Yeah, I bet.
And what are you most looking forward to? We've got the parade around midday, we've got the fly past, the Royals, of course, will be there. You'll see the King close up and personal.
Looking forward to all of it, yeah.
Good stuff. Stephen, Ellie, I had a chat with some of the most early risers a bit earlier today. Here's what they had to say. Okay, good morning, John. I think you're the first person here today at VE Day?
No, I wasn't the first person, but we came here about 8:30 yesterday.
8:30 last night?
About 8:30.
So hang on a minute, where did you sleep?
Me and my friend stood up all night.
You've been up all night? And you're going to be up all day?
All day.
What's the secret, John? Lots of coffees?
No, it's just been here for our troops.
I got here at about 5:15.
This morning?
This morning.
And where did you come from? Where did you travel from?
I travelled yesterday on holiday from Scotland. So I was to Telford. I travelled down yesterday to London. So I came from Cricklewood this morning.
And why was it so important for you to be here today?
I just feel 80 years is really something worth celebrating. So I've come here for sort of remembrance. My mum lived in London during the war, so she was here in 1945 in the crowd outside the palace. So I just want to do that again. And obviously I'd like to see the royal family as well, but I really want to see the fly past and the marching as well.
Did your mother sit down and speak with you about her times during the war?
She did, yes. Yeah, she slept in the underground in the latter part of the war. She was in Bristol at the start of the war and then down in Torquay for a bit, but I think in London from 1942 to the end. So she had the impact of a lot, having to go down in the deep underground stations and things and sleep out.
It's a story that it reminds you that the war, of course, wasn't just a military operation with, I think, nearly 400,000 British troops dying. It was a massive civilian operation as well.
Yes, that's right, and I think it's important to come and remember.
25 years I've been making friends on this mall.
Yeah, so how does it work? Is there sort of Facebook groups that you join and WhatsApp groups?
I just look it up, and when I know there's going to be a special event, I know that it's going to be big, and I look it up when I know that this is open to the public, and I'm here.
And for viewers at home who have never been to one of these events before, say a coronation or a jubilee or whatever, just explain what it's like. What is the atmosphere like and the camaraderie with your fellow Brits?
Very loving. One big happy family. Honestly, this is where you're united with your people. Like, I'm proud to be British.
Yeah.
Because this is where you feel the love. You feel the love for the royal family, you feel the love. It's like today we're celebrating 80 years of what these beautiful people did to our country.
Yeah.
I'm here to honour them, salute them, They gave their life to us.
Indeed. Very eloquently put. Thank you so much.
So I'm proud at the moment to be here.
Yep, there we go, Stephen and Ellie down here. Lots of love building, and the crowds, if we just spin round, already starting to rise in number. It's still early doors, it's what, 7:20. It's a little bit chilly as well, just around 6 degrees, so hopefully the sun comes out. But if you come back to me in the next hour or so, Stephen and Ellie, I'm sure you'll see an even bigger scene of British patriotism.
I'm sure we will, Ben. Thank you very much indeed.
You.
And I do sort of think, I love the fact that we are celebrating these people who made this possible. You know, to be able to gather on the Mall in the early hours of the morning, and whether you think people are slightly crackers for doing it or not, they've got the right to do it. They've got the right to celebrate and to make the most of a day like today. And why not?
Well, they know as well that it's going to be worth the wait. It is going to be spectacular today. I mean, it is the very best of British pomp and pageantry. We just had a view in from John, who says no one does parades like we do in this country. The whole world is jealous of us, and I love it, says John.
Yeah, well, quite right too.
It's true.
Quite right too, and it will be lovely to see the. I love the fact that the royal family, when they come out and as they take the salute from these armed forces personnel, you know, they are proud of the men and women who serve their sovereign, and I love that relationship. And
Yes,
it's really
such
special.
a close bond, isn't it? So it's right that that's recognised today.
Right, we are sat. Well, I've got to say, we are freezing. It feels worse for us because we're sat still.
Yes.
Wouldn't be so bad.
And the
if we're
wind's
moving
coming right
about.
in. Yeah.
But anyway, it makes us wish for summer, and it is going to be a lovely summer actually. And you could spend it. How do you fancy driving around the country in a glorious 4-berth motorhome worth very nearly 68 grand actually, with 5 grand in your pocket as well? That's what we're giving away in our biggest ever Great British giveaway. I'm desperate for it to be mine, but it can't be.
You can't get involved.
No, but it
you
could
can.
be yours.
Courtesy of Marquis Leisure, you could be driving away with this brand new Elnag Baron 560 motorhome. It comfortably sleeps 4, comes with sky roof, integrated kitchen and bathroom, and is worth over £67,000. And that's not all, as we'll also give you a further £5,000 in tax-free cash to make sure that wherever this motorhome takes you, it takes you there in style. For another chance to win the lot, text WIN to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus 1 standard network rate message, or text BONUS to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus 1 standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB13 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 6th of June. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand. Good luck.
Well, do stay with us on a very special VE Day GB News breakfast live from the Palace. Lots more coming up on today's show, including counter-terrorism police foiling a suspected terror attack reportedly hours away from being carried out. We've got the details on that next.
The royal family is an enduring symbol of tradition, unity and pride for Britain. At GB News, we celebrate what makes this country great. In our new royal newsletter series, you can join me, Cameron Walker, for Inside the Palace, an exclusive look every week that takes you beyond the gates and brings you the very latest from those at the heart of the monarchy. Never miss a royal moment again. Sign up now. Go to gbnews.com/royal newsletter and get the latest straight to your inbox.
It's Patrick Christie's Tonight, and here we do things differently.
It's explaining the absolute madness of this, doesn't it?
It's explosive.
I mean, this is very good.
It's lively.
850. Your government sat there, Sean, and it did nothing.
It's controversial.
And the Middle East has been in turmoil since before I was born.
It's everything you need to kickstart your evening.
Everyone's had their Weetabix tonight. I love to see it.
That's Patrick Christie's Tonight, weeknights from 9 p.m. Only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Hi, I'm Michelle Dewberry, and my show is your opportunity to cut through all the noise and dive in headfirst to some robust debates. Ideas clash.
Situation,
No,
isn't it? Because the failure is...
You're deliberately avoiding my point. Nothing's held back,
And if you think this is the end of it, wait for more.
and we do not shy away from the difficult stuff.
Sometimes I want to shake people and say, if only you understood.
So join me on Jubes & Co. weeknights at 6 p.m, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Good Afternoon Britain isn't just about us. The wonderful thing about this programme is it's about everyone watching. It's an interactive programme.
Well, there absolutely is something to see here, and we're going to be talking about it more. Whether it's breaking royal news, please bring us up to date, or indeed a particularly punchy speech in the House of Commons.
Very, very curious.
We bring it to you live, and then we bring you live reaction as well.
That's Good Afternoon Britain, weekdays from midday.
Only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
This is Britain's Newsroom, where your voice matters.
It's just astonishing. With expert analysis and honest opinion, we don't just keep you informed.
We bring you unique perspectives you won't see anywhere else.
Can't argue with any of that. When the news happens, it happens here.
On Britain's Newsroom, weekdays from 9:30 a.m.
Only on GB News.
In the GB Newsroom, we bring you the news as it happens.
With our team of dedicated journalists across the UK,
we're ready to keep you up to date with what's happening every half an hour, every single day. Bulletins here on GB News,
the People's Channel,
Britain's news channel.
Headliners on GB News 11 p.m. every night. It's got 3 top comedians going through the next day's newspapers so you don't have to read them, which is great.
That's a good point. He's lying. Maybe he's not lying.
That's Headliners every night from 11 p.m. and 5 a.m. as well on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Well, welcome back to Buckingham Palace at 7:24 as we mark VE Day 80, the start of these celebrations that carry right on through till Thursday. 80 years since the end of the Second World War, and what a glorious day it is going to be here today to kick it all off, especially with this military parade down the Mall. And we've been saying there's loads of officers and police officers and things behind us, loads of people gathering on the Mall already for what is just going to be a spectacular display of our very best pomp and pageantry, I should think.
It really is going to be the most glorious day. Do keep your views coming in today. Let us know what you are up to on this bank holiday Monday to celebrate VE Day. gbnews.com/yoursay. Debbie's been in touch already saying my dad is 80 on the 8th of May. He was born the day that the war ended. I am so proud of this. I'm looking forward to your coverage this week, and there will be coverage on GB News throughout today and indeed throughout the week, celebrating this incredible milestone in history. And actually so important as well that veterans are at the forefront of today's commemorations. They're actually going to be leading that military procession, aren't we? We heard earlier.
Yeah.
So that is
sort of starting it off.
Starting it off, and rightly so. So we will be bringing that all to you on GB News throughout the week.
Yeah, it's funny, Debbie. My dad's 80 on the very start of June. And it's funny that it gives you a sense of perspective, doesn't it, when you think your father was just sort of born at that time. And it brings it closer, doesn't it? And that's what we are going to lose as the years go by, of course, which is what's sad about all of this and why we need to make this so important while we still have some of those veterans left with us to celebrate and to thank them for what they did.
It is poignant. This VE Day does feel like the last significant one, VE 80, where we will have veterans here with us, because it is sadly a dwindling number of those veterans that are still here. So it's so important that that legacy is passed on, that we keep talking to young people about what happened during the Second World War and the sacrifices that were paid.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, looking at other news for you this morning, it just goes to highlight why we need security in our country, because a suspected terror attack has been foiled in what the Home Secretary has described as one of the bigger counter-terror operations in recent years.
Well, 5 men were arrested across numerous locations in England on Saturday, with the attack thought to be just hours away from being launched on British soil.
Yeah, and amongst the details that we do have is that 3 Iranian men were also arrested in a separate investigation in London. Now, that was after fears that they would flee the country.
Well, let's get some details now with security analyst and security expert Will Geddes, who joins us now. Good to see you this morning, Will. And what do we know about this suspected terror attack?
Well, to be honest, Ellie, again, the authorities, for understandable reasons at the moment, because this is live, are keeping their information quite close to their chest. But from what we can glean, there are two separate groups here, from what we understand. Two separate groups that were arrested across 5 separate locations across the United Kingdom, including Manchester and London. Now, what's significant about this operation was it wasn't standard counter-terrorism police that were involved in this. This actually involved dynamic entries on many residents by both CTSFOs, counter-terrorism specialist firearm officers, in support and being supported by UK Special Forces. So the actual threats themselves once got to speculate, and again, this is speculation on my part, that there were some fairly dangerous components potentially behind these plots, and the premises that they entered would have possibly had these devices or these elements within them.
Yeah, I mean, what do we read into that, Will?
Well, from what we know, Stephen, as we say, there were 2 separate locations. This is being attributed allegedly to Iranian-backed or hostile state actors, albeit you mentioned, Ellie, obviously there were Iranians within that capture. What we do know is that since 2022, there have been some 20 plots that the UK counter-terrorism have actually foiled, excuse me, which have been backed by Iran. We know that Iran has been involved in a variety of different types of operations already. These include sabotage, espionage, and even assassination. So the target that they were potentially looking to focus on, again, we don't know. But from what we do understand is it was at very late stages of the plot planning and possibly just before any attack was possibly going to be invoked, that obviously the authorities got involved to apprehend these individuals. So this is pretty significant. And certainly a number of these individuals have been held under the new National Security Act, which is this new counter-terrorism legislation specifically targeting hostile state actors.
Yeah. And Will, do you think that we will need to look again at Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard being prescribed as a terror group, potentially, with what you've just spoken about there?
Yeah, absolutely, Ellie. I think, again, it's about making a very direct link and having the sufficient evidence to support it, which could then justify establishing it or tagging it as a prescribed terrorist group. But I think there's certainly been sufficient evidence. But the clever thing about the IGRC is that they are using proxies. And certainly for some of the assassination attempts that have been certainly planned, they have used proxies. And what they'll do quite often, like these kind of groups will do, they'll use individuals from other countries. In one assassination plot, for one example, they used 2 Romanian nationals to try and implement the assassination. However, the intelligence agencies, doing the spectacular job that they always do, managed to directly link it back to Iran.
Yeah, God, it's incredible. It's like something out of a spy novel, unfortunately, isn't it? But as you say, it's incredible work that goes on. Will, it's good to see you. Thank you very much indeed. It's hugely disturbing that all this stuff goes on. I mean, the issue is, of course, that it goes on all the time. We just don't tend to know about it. But something like this is obviously come out.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of the biggest plots, as the Home Secretary was saying, to be foiled in years. And as we understand it, just hours away from actually being carried out. So we've got a lot to be thankful for our security services and our police and our intelligence that obviously foiled that plot before any harm came to us. But it is hugely alarming, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Makes us maybe all the willing to celebrate a bit more this week for what we do have and the freedoms that we do have. Gary's been in touch. Morning, Gary. He says, and what a job, on Thursday I will be proclaiming VE Day in Evesham for the first time as Evesham's new town crier. Oye! That's going to be quite a job. I hope you've got a big, strong voice.
Yes.
You must do. And a big
Need to be
bell.
resting your voice this week, maybe.
I love town criers.
Hot water and honey. Let us know your preparation, Gary.
Yes, lots of practicing. I bet your neighbours are going mad if you're practising at home.
Do you practice in the mirror with the bell? I'm not sure how it works.
Quite something. Anyway, if you've got a little video clip of that, Gary, send it through. We'd love to see it. Right, still to come, Paul's here talking about Harry Kane winning his first trophy. Paul's a very proud man. We'll tell you more in a moment.
Crash Law 24 sponsors GB News Traffic and Travel Report.
Good morning, this is the latest AI travel news from gbnews.com. The M74 is currently experiencing delays in both directions between Junction 11 and Junction 9 due to a contraflow system. Additionally, the Junction 10 southbound on-slip road is closed. Motorists should follow local diversions and anticipate longer journeys. On the M4 eastbound at Junction 37 Pyle, resurfacing work has closed the exit slip road and hard shoulder, with diversions in place. Expect delays. For more travel news, go to gbnews.com.
Crash Law 24 sponsors GB News Traffic and Travel Report.
From the school run to the home run, watch a new show for all of Britain.
So he can say whatever he wants.
A straight talking show where all voices are heard.
And, you know, when are we going to stop talking about smashing the gangs and actually do it?
With the stories that matter from every part of our country.
There's a bit of a crash landing there for your Chancellor.
Bold, fearless and standing up for you. That's me, Martin Dordme, 3 p.m. till 6 p.m, weekdays, here only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
The royal family is an enduring symbol of tradition, unity and pride for Britain. At GB News, we celebrate what makes this country great. In our new royal newsletter series, you can join me, Cameron Walker, for Inside the Palace, an exclusive look every week that takes you beyond the gates and brings you the very latest from those at the heart of the monarchy. Never miss a royal moment again. Sign up now. Go to gbnews.com/royal newsletter and get the latest straight to your inbox.
It's Patrick Christie's Tonight, and here we do things differently.
It's explaining the absolute madness of this, doesn't it?
It's explosive.
I mean, this is very good.
It's lively.
850. Your government sat there, Sean, and it did nothing.
It's controversial.
And the Middle East has been in turmoil since before I was born.
It's everything you need to kickstart your evening.
Everyone's had their Weetabix tonight. I love to see it.
That's Patrick Christie's Tonight, weeknights from 9 p.m. Only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Hi, I'm Michelle Dewberry, and my show is your opportunity to cut through all the noise and dive in headfirst to some robust debates. Ideas clash.
Situation,
no,
Because the failure is...
You're deliberately avoiding my point. Nothing's held back.
And if you think this is the end of it, wait for more.
And we do not shy away from the difficult stuff.
Sometimes I want to shake people and say, if only you understood.
So join me on Jubes & Co. weeknights at 6 p.m, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Me.
Says your name.
Oh, well, from a glorious morning down here at the Palace as we celebrate VE Day 80. Let's just head back to the studio, should we, and see what Paul Coyte's celebrating this morning.
Well, you know what? It's Harry Kane that's celebrating, though, Stephen. You know how long he's waited? 14 years to win a trophy, and finally, it's happened. He's a very happy boy, and I think you'll enjoy this. So Harry Kane, 14 years then he's been waiting. Obviously, he played for Tottenham Hotspur. He moved over to Bayern Munich. That's not him. Bayern Munich just a couple of years ago, and it didn't work out last year. They didn't win the Bundesliga title, but they have this year. Now, he actually found out not playing in the game because Bayern played Leipzig on Saturday, and they were 2-1 up right towards the very end. And although Harry wasn't on the pitch because he'd actually was suspended through too many yellow cards, he went down pitch side, ready to celebrate, and then Leipzig scored. So they had to put the excitement and the celebrations on hold. So they all met last night, and they were all met in a bar, and this was for Bayer Leverkusen, who are the main rivals, and they drew 2-2 with Freiburg, which meant that Bayern Munich are now champions. Let's see Harry celebrating, shall we? Is he? But anyway, congratulations, Harry Kane. Very happy man. He's won his first title, Bundesliga, with Bayern Munich, so hopefully he'll be coming back to Tottenham Hotspur very soon. Now, the World Snooker Championships is going on. It always ends on this Bank Holiday Monday, the final. Now, this is really intriguing. We've got Zhao Jintong, 28-year-old Chinese player, lives in Sheffield. He was banned for 20 months for match fixing, so he's come back again, but he's playing Mark Williams. Now, Mark Williams, a three-time winner and a fantastic snooker player, but he's 50 years old. So the chances whether Mark Williams is going to win, I think everybody seems to be behind Mark. Ronnie O'Sullivan, still the oldest winner of the title, a couple of years ago at the age of 46. So Mark is now the oldest person to make it to a final, which obviously would make him the oldest winner at 50 years old. He currently is 11-6 down to Zhao after being 7-1 down after the first session. So it looks like there could possibly be a comeback in the offing, and that continues later on this afternoon. Now, Jack Draper, quick word about Jack Draper, the #1 tennis player for the country, played in the final of the Madrid Open yesterday against Casper Ruud. I think we can probably see a little bit of that. Casper Ruud was the man that won the competition. It's on clay, as you can see, which is not Jack's favourite surface. Furthest he's ever got has been a quarter of final, so to actually get to a final of the Madrid Open is something else. He lost 7-5, 3-6, 6-4, and he's never gone beyond the quarter final before. The French Open is next, which is also on clay, so good luck to him with that one. And finally, one more thing, and I don't know whether you actually managed to see the Miami Grand Prix yesterday. Now, the Miami Grand Prix was won by Oscar Piastri for McLaren. Lando Norris came second. But before the race, they actually made Lego versions of the cars. Now, have a look at these. Now, these are very impressive. And they actually work as well. They go about 12 miles an hour. All 20 drivers took to the track in these. Full-size Lego versions of their own cars. 400,000 bricks. Look at this. They're actually put together with proper Lego bricks, not like big ones. The small little ones, the ones that we all have to use. 400,000 bricks, took 22,000 hours per car. I don't know what they're going to do with them now, but anyway, and it was a fantastic procession, and most of the drivers said the most fun they had was in the procession beforehand, not the actual race afterwards. But there we are.
Wow, look, I just love that. That's absolutely fantastic.
Isn't that great?
The fact that they could actually drive as well.
I don't think the seats would be terribly comfortable, though. But anyway, the rest of it looks fantastic.
Thank you very much. And welcome back to the Palace for a very special edition of GB News Breakfast for VE80. Lots of you getting in touch. Paula's just said, enjoying the celebrations today, everyone. I just switched on and I immediately felt lifted. Thank you, GB
nice.
News. And that's exactly what we'd like to do today, isn't it?
Yeah, and Carol's been in touch. She's saying, my mum celebrated her 16th birthday on May the 8th, 1945, with peace declared. What a gift. Sadly, she passed away last year, but she would have loved to have seen the celebrations this week. I'm looking forward to watching your coverage all day on GB News. And I hope, Carol, that we can do your mum proud.
Yeah, let's hope so. Keep those views coming in. Let us know what you're doing today on Bank Holiday Monday to celebrate VE Day. gbnews.com/yoursay. It is starting to build up here. I can see lots of people already on the Mall, lots of people with their flags and wrapped up warm because it is quite cold here this morning. And a really heavy police presence. You might be able to see behind us, actually, there's some officers just walking by. So lots of preparations underway for everything that is going to take place today.
Yeah, it's going to be one heck of a day. It is cold, though, so it makes me dream of a bit of holiday sun. If you are feeling the same way, here's the forecast for the top European hotspots.
Ready to soak up that holiday sunshine?
Won't we need some cover?
No worries. All sorted.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations Forecast.
Despite some dry and sunny weather across parts of the UK, it's a different story across parts of Europe, with heavy showers and thunderstorms for many of us, particularly across parts of Spain, southern parts of France and parts of Italy too, seeing some heavy thunderstorms throughout Tuesday afternoon. Southern parts of Greece and Turkey probably holding on to the best of the sunshine through Tuesday afternoon. Highs here around 26 degrees, but there will be some sunshine on offer for many of us over the next couple of days, and highs in Tenerife around 24 or 25 degrees.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations Forecast.
Lots more still to come up on today's show, including I desperately need some makeup, apparently. My nose is going red. There's a lot of nose to go red, to be fair.
At least you match the bunting.
It's cold. But anyway, also we're going to be looking at food delivery jobs. Is it an easy way for illegal migrants to earn money? We'll be looking at that in our paper review in just a moment.
I'm Christopher Hope. From pop stars to politicians, I'll interview anybody in a pub who's got a political opinion. Join me every Friday on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube or gbnews.com, or wherever you get your podcasts. This is GB News, the People's Channel.
Good afternoon, Britain. Weekdays from midday.
And the restaurant chain Toby Carvery has come under fire after chopping down a significant 400-year-old oak tree. It's considered to be more ecologically significant than the Sycamore Gap.
Yeah, so this tree is 6.1 metres wide. There it is, fallen down. It was one of London's oldest and largest, and it supports more native wildlife than any other tree, making it crucial for biodiversity, apparently.
Oh, the woodlice must be so sad. Well, the chain believed that it had a legal right to fell this tree, which was not covered by a tree protection order.
Well, we're joined by Chief Executive of the Tree Council, Sarah Lom.
I mean, I was down on site this morning, and I have to say, first of all, you know, it makes you really, really sad to see this tree with its branches just chopped up lying there, but also really, really angry that it could have happened, that there isn't enough protection around to have stopped this happening. You know, we're incredibly lucky in the UK. We have more ancient trees than the whole of Europe combined. So it's really, really important that we look after them.
Now, of course, the restaurant argues that the tree was dead or dying, and of course that it was on their land, it was their property. So what do you say to their argument that they were within their rights to cut down this tree?
I mean, I'd like to know who assessed the tree to be dead. Normally, you know, you would have an arboricultural report and it would be in depth, in detail. We haven't seen that. Nobody seems to have seen that. So, you know, that could have shown that, in fact, perhaps the tree could have been managed better in some way. You know, it could have had some of the branches lifted, and then the tree would have survived rather than just felling it to the ground.
GB News, the People's Channel.
This is Britain's Newsroom, where your voice matters.
It's just astonishing. With expert analysis and honest opinion, we don't just keep you informed.
We bring you unique perspectives you won't see anywhere else.
Can't argue with any of that. When the news happens, it happens here.
On Britain's Newsroom, weekdays from 9:30 a.m.
Only on GB News.
In the GB Newsroom, we bring you the news as it happens.
With our team of dedicated journalists across the UK, we're ready to keep you up to date with what's happening every half an hour, every single day. Bulletins here on GB News, the People's Channel,
Britain's news channel.
Welcome back to a very special V-Day 80 edition of GB News Breakfast, live from the Palace, and what a glorious morning it is. And we've got so much to look forward to, haven't we, this morning? We're going to start by having a look through the papers this morning with Editor-at-Large at the Mail on Sunday, Charlotte Griffiths. Good to see you this morning, Charlotte. And talking of Buckingham Palace and the royal family today, we talk about Prince Harry, who has simply lost touch with reality, according to the Telegraph.
Yeah, it's very interesting because there was a small official statement from Buckingham Palace after this famous BBC interview. But what's also happening on the sidelines is small little leaks from the palace or sources close to the palace and insiders. So we're starting to get a sense a couple of days on of how they really feel about this. The word that keeps coming through is delusional. They just think Harry's delusional. And he's completely lost touch with reality. If he thinks that getting in touch with his father is possible by speaking on a BBC interview, speaking to the media, which he claims to despise so much, you know, he's kind of lost the plot, I'm afraid.
Yeah, and I mean, one of the most disturbing things was this idea that they weren't in contact at all. But as someone said, how can the king talk to him, not knowing what is going to then appear in the next interview, documentary, book, or anything else?
Yeah, it is tragic, though, because one thing I did get from the interview was a sense of absolute desperation. He clearly just cannot get hold of his father. But I agree with the king. He's very wise. Of course, he can't engage with his own son. But I think they've got to find a way forward. They've got to find a way to communicate, because this will keep happening. I can imagine Harry doing an interview every few months if it means getting through to his father. And the irony is, do you remember Thomas Markle, Meghan's father? When he couldn't get hold of Meghan, he started doing interviews every 6 months. And now I see history repeating itself with Prince Harry.
But then, I mean, the danger is, the one line which really struck me out of all of that was the fact saying, well, I don't know how long my father's got left, which seems such a sort of awful thing to say, or at least ill-advised thing to say.
I know, I feel like he said it off the cuff and he hadn't thought it through, but you never know with Harry. He's quite strategic about these things. Certainly it was an absolutely foolish thing to say. It would have really upset his father, everyone at the palace. I think probably that's the surest way not to speak to his father again, is saying things like that.
And it won't be lost on people at home today that Prince Harry should be here, shouldn't he? As a veteran, he should be on that balcony alongside the King, alongside the Queen. I mean, thanking our veterans for everything they've done for us.
It's exactly the kind of event he would have loved if he was still a working member of the royal family. It's a real shame he's not going to be here. And also, it's a distraction. That interview is a distraction.
Yeah.
And over there, we're going to have the full roster of, top-tier royals. And unfortunately, we're talking about his crazy interview in which he discusses how long his father has left to live.
And that's what the royal family have said, haven't they? They hope, out of respect for the veterans, that nothing distracts from the commemorations that we're going to see this week.
Should we stop interviewing him? I suggested this yesterday, and it's difficult. But I think there should perhaps be a moral duty now where we don't go and chase interviews with him. Because it causes problems.
It does cause problems. I think...
if the Telegraph...
Well, let's see how... I'm just thinking as a journalist here, would we turn down an interview with Harry?
This is it. I mean, if the Mail on Sunday got offered an exclusive with Harry, would you do it?
Yeah, and there was a time when we all thought we were going to stop writing about Meghan, but actually, she deliberately crafts ways to be written about. Just today, or yesterday, she released a photo of Harry in California. I mean, that was deliberately designed to be in all the papers today. It wasn't in the front page of the Mail, but it was in there in page 5 or something. And it was being described by palace insiders as I won't say the word, an FU.
Yes.
Because what she's saying is, Harry is having a great life in California, forget the rest of you. But actually what he was saying in his interview is, I do want to come back to the UK. So actually I think she might be saying F you to her own husband a little bit with that image as well. But, she is engaging with us as much as she might want to deny it.
OK, have a look at the Express. Desperate pleas for us not to stop supporting Ukraine.
This is such a sweet story. A 99-year-old veteran saying he admires the Blitz spirit. And I have to say, I hope the Blitz spirit is refound today, because I feel that was something our nation was brilliant at. And we seem to have lost a bit recently. But he was saying how much he admired Churchill. And it's really nice reading the papers today and getting a smattering of those old Churchill quotes and sort of remembering them all again. And don't test me on them.
No.
But, that kind of brilliant unification of the country that today is all about. And this Ukrainian veteran, 99 years old, reminding us of...
Who fought alongside Britain to defeat the Nazis.
And saying thank you for backing Ukraine, and please don't sort of lose sight of that or let it go. Please keep fighting on.
And Ukrainian troops are actually marching today in that military parade. There's going to be a group of NATO troops and Ukrainian troops at the back of that military procession. So they supported us in World War II. Of course, we're supporting them now with the military training. I mean, it's a really special bond that we share with Ukraine.
It's a really special bond, and we know that King Charles, of course, feels very keenly about the Ukraine crisis and very much engaged with Zelensky over the crisis. So I think he'll really enjoy seeing them walking up the parade.
Yeah. Now, lots of people will be watching today on TV, watching online, of course, as well, and listening on the radio. All these forms of technology that are around today. But Yes, the word we cannot say because it sets all your little machines off at home. I just think this is hilarious that there's Britons are apparently buying more radios because they're afraid that that little device in the corner is listening in and spying on you. But this is according to the boss of Robert's Radio.
Yes. Funny that, isn't it? Actually, it's kind of embarrassing for him because he had to admit as part of this interview that radio sales have been plummeting in recent years, but there has been a recent boost because of a newfound paranoia, especially with the Russian hacking that's been going on, and also there have been recent attacks on Harrods and the Co-op and everything. So people are starting to get worried that the A device, I won't say the word, is listening to us. I have to say, I've kind of priced that in. I have one in my kitchen, and I know it's listening to me. I don't care what they say. They say it's not, but I know it is. But I just really find the convenience of waking up in the morning and saying, start my day. I won't say the word, because it's like a day that tells you the weather, tells you what's coming up in the day, tells you the news. I have to say, it even plays me GB News.
Well, exactly. I mean,
I've priced it in.
That's the advantage, I think, that you can just say, Madam, play GB News, and off she goes, and it's all just there.
And everything else is listening to us anyway.
It's our phones are.
I mean, they're saying that they don't. Amazon is saying nothing's listened to without consent, but I actually think I consent to half these things. You know, when you get those sort of long things you have to agree to and you just click accept. I'm sure I probably
You've probably consented to it, haven't you?
Yeah, I probably have. But I have to say, with the Co-op attacks and the M&S attacks, I am starting to worry a little bit about my data and thinking maybe one day we might have to phase them all out of our kitchens.
But I mean, it's on every device now, isn't it? Smart fridges and smart tellies and...
Well, it's in the cars. I mean, apparently it's in electric cars. There are Chinese parts that could be spying on us. I think we might have backed ourselves into a corner here where absolutely everything
is listening to us.
Do we get too paranoid, do you think? Or do we just have to go, it doesn't matter?
I'm sort of on the second. I definitely think it doesn't matter at the moment. But I'm sure there will come a time when we'll start getting paranoid, I'm afraid.
Maybe so. Yeah. Charlotte, really good to see you. Thank you.
Okay. Let's get a check on the weather.
Heavy showers first thing will be followed by a warm, cosy day. Boxed Boilers, sponsors of weather on GB News.
Good morning. Welcome to your latest GB News weather from the Met Office. There's a bit of a chilly start to Bank Holiday Monday today, but there's going to be plenty of sunshine on offer, but it will be feeling a little bit cooler than it did towards the end of last week, all thanks to high pressure across the UK. The only exception to the dry and sunny weather will be across the very far southeast of England, where we could see some showers, perhaps one or two of these heavy in places. But for the majority of us, plenty of dry weather around, plenty of blue skies and plenty of sunshine too. With that sunshine and with light winds, it's going to be feeling fairly pleasant. Temperatures in the south a little above average, 16, 17, perhaps 18 degrees. Close to average further north, though, around 13 or 14 degrees. And always feeling just a little bit cooler across the eastern coast with that onshore breeze. Across the northern half of the country, as we head through Monday evening, it's going to stay dry. One or two isolated showers affecting Shetland and Orkney through Monday evening. But for the most part, plenty of unbroken sunshine to end the day here. A little bit more cloud across parts of Northern Ireland, maybe Northern England too, but staying dry as we head through Monday evening. And any showers that we see across the very far south gradually starting to ease through Monday evening. So for much of England and Wales, it's going to be a dry end to Monday as well. As we then head through Monday night and into the start of Tuesday, plenty of dry weather around, plenty of clear spells on offer, and that likely to lead to quite a widespread frost across the country, perhaps as low as -3 or -4 in places. The exception again being the very far north and northwest of Scotland, where we could see a bit more cloud, but temperatures dropping down into the mid or high single figures, so that does mean quite a chilly start to the day on Tuesday across the board. But it will be a dry and bright start to the morning for many of us. A little cloud feeding in across eastern parts of England as we go through Tuesday morning, staying a little cloudy across the northwest too, but for much of us, plenty of sunshine, plenty of blue skies on offer again, and with those light winds, it'll be feeling pleasant in that sunshine. Again, in the south, we could see highs of 16, 17, perhaps 18 degrees, and even highs of 16 or 17 degrees across parts of Scotland and Northern Ireland too.
There will be a light breeze in the morning, leading to a warm front. Boxed Heat Pumps, sponsors of weather on GB News.
Crash Law 24 sponsors GB News Traffic and Travel Report.
Good morning.
This is the latest AI travel news from gbnews.com. Significant disruptions are on the M74 in both directions, where a contraflow system is in place from junction 11 to 9. The junction 10 southbound on-slip is closed, so please follow local diversions. On the M4 eastbound at junction 37 Pile, resurfacing work has closed the exit slip road and hard shoulder with diversions in place. In Rotherham, the M1 northbound entry slip at junction 31 is delayed due to a broken down vehicle, leading to one-lane closure. A similar issue affects the M1 southbound between junctions 15 and 14 near Milton Keynes. For more travel news, go to gbnews.com.
Crash Law 24 sponsors GB News Traffic and Travel Report.
You could be the next big winner on the road in this brand new Alnag Baron 560 motorhome, courtesy of Marquis Leisure. Imagine the fun you could have in this luxurious home from home worth over £67,000. We'll also give you £5,000 in tax-free cash to make your next getaway a great one. And it could be all yours. For another chance to win the lot, text WIN to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message. Or text bonus to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB13 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 6th of June. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand.
Headliners on GB News 11 p.m. every night. It's got 3 top comedians going through the next day's newspapers so you don't have to read them, which is great.
That's a good point. He's lying. Maybe he's not lying.
That's Headliners every night from 11 p.m. and 5 a.m. as well on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Join me, Nana Akwe, for an informative, interactive news programme with a difference. It's fun.
No, he didn't say that, Dave.
I'm so surprised.
I think there's an element of truth to that.
Join me from 3 p.m. every weekend, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
We're proud to be GB News, the People's Channel. And as you know, we always love to hear your views. Now, there's a new way of getting in touch with us at gbnews.com/yoursay. By commenting, you can be part of a live conversation and join our GB News community. You can even talk to me, Bev Turner, or any of the members of the GB News family.
Well, a very good morning to you as the sun rises over Buckingham Palace and Britain prepares to celebrate 80 years since the end of the Second World War.
VE Day, one of the most significant moments in our country's history. Battlefields fell silent across Europe and a weary world breathed again.
Hostilities will end officially at 1 minute after midnight tonight, Tuesday, the 8th of May.
Well, today we honour those who made the ultimate sacrifice for our country.
Germany, the enemy who drove all Europe into war, has been finally overcome.
Well, Victory in Europe Day marked not just the end of the conflict, but the dawn of peace, resilience and remembrance, a spirit that endures today.
Well, we're live here at the Palace to witness 1,300 Armed Forces personnel marching through central London, showcasing the very best of British pomp and pageantry.
Well, that includes the much-anticipated flypast, where the Royal Air Force will take to the skies over Buckingham Palace and the Mall.
Ukrainian soldiers are going to join the procession as well, symbolising Britain's commitment to achieving peace on the world stage.
Well, huge crowds rejoiced on the streets after nearly 6 years of war. Today we'll be live across the country as Britain celebrates.
Yes, good morning. Excitement building here outside Buckingham Palace. We're at the gates of Clarence House, where we understand the King's having breakfast, and I'm busy down here on the Mall making some new friends.
And in sport this morning, 50-year-old Mark Williams begins his comeback in the final of the World Snooker Championship, now trailing 11-6 to China's Zhao Jintong after being 7-1 down after the first session. Chelsea beat maybe a little lacklustre Liverpool in their race for the Champions League football. And finally, Harry Kane's trophy drought is now over.
It's going to be a dry and sunny bank holiday Monday for many of us, with plenty of sunshine on the cards, although it will be feeling a little bit cooler than it did towards the end of last week. Join me later for the full forecast with all the details.
It's just gone 8 o'clock. I'm Stephen Dixon.
I'm Ellie Costello, and we are live from Buckingham Palace for a very special VE Day GB News breakfast.
Well, welcome to the palace, as we mark the beginning of this very special week of celebrations marking 80 years since VE Day. It's wonderful to be. It's a little bit chilly, as we keep saying.
Yes.
But it's very, very special to be here for what is going to be a momentous day, particularly with the flypast about 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock this afternoon, but also that incredible military parade.
Yes, 1,300 armed personnel will be marching through the streets of London from Whitehall here to Buckingham Palace, of course, to mark the 80th anniversary of that historic milestone. So 4 days of commemorations, but they start today.
Yes, and it is, of course, because we're remembering that it is on the 8th of May 1945 that millions upon millions of people took to Britain's streets to celebrate the end of a very long 6-year war.
Hostilities will end officially at 1 minute after midnight tonight, Tuesday, the 8th of May.
Well, to mark the 80th anniversary of that historic milestone, there are going to be those 4 days of commemorations. They've been planned across the UK, and it all begins today.
Well, in London, the cenotaph will be draped in Union flags to honour the fallen. The first time that's happened since it was unveiled in 1920.
At midday, over 1,300 armed forces personnel will process through the streets of London, including members of the public taking part in that procession from Whitehall to Buckingham Palace. That will, of course, be followed by a special flypast from the Red Arrows.
Well, the King and the Queen are also expected to make a very special appearance on the balcony behind us, as you would expect. But this year, of course, will mark the first time that VE Day commemorations have taken place without any of the royals who actually stood on that balcony 80 years ago.
I know. And once again, street parties will bring the country to life, just like they did 8 decades ago.
It's going to be quite a day. We are very privileged this morning to be joined by 2 of those people taking part in the military procession at lunchtime today. And we've been saying that Ukrainian soldiers are getting involved, and we have 2 here. Gentlemen, it's very good to see you this morning. Major, can I start with you? What does it mean for you to be here?
Yeah, good morning, everyone. So we're so glad to be here as a representative of Ukraine to take part of this parade to celebrate 80th anniversary victory in Europe. So thank you for that.
And what does it mean to you, can I ask, that the fact to be involved with British and some NATO troops today at a time when obviously your country is under such threat?
We would like to also to thank all our partners for their support and to be part of the free world fighting against evil that came to our land once more.
You've been rehearsing with the British Armed Forces since Thursday, haven't you? What had those rehearsals been like?
So it wasn't enough time for us to prepare for this perfectly, but we spent a few last days with British and other NATO allies of practicing. Also, the main one was during the night in London. It was really impressive, especially when the band started to play the music in the middle of night and maybe awoke some people. But yeah, it's just because to do it perfectly today.
Do you feel a sense of support from the British people being involved in something like this?
Yeah, that's for sure. That's for sure. Everyone we met, they always supported us. They shake our hands and wish to win our nation.
I was going to say, what do you think it will mean to your colleagues back at home who will be hopefully aware that you're taking part in this?
Yeah, I suppose they're gonna be proud of us, because we're always happy to see Ukraine representatives somewhere take part, especially in such a great event here in London, in central London.
And the two countries have always had a very close bond, haven't they? If we look back to the Second World War, we fought on the same side then, and now we're here celebrating and commemorating 80 years later.
And we're expecting to celebrate our own Victory Day as soon as it's possible.
Well, hopefully we can be involved in that at some point as well. Gentlemen, it's a real honour. Thank you very much indeed, and I hope it goes well for you today.
Thank you very much.
It's just wonderful, I think, that... And we were talking about it on Saturday, actually, and saying, is it the right thing to do to have people from other nations involved in something like today? But actually, I think it is important that it's about showing that support. It's about showing where we are on the world stage in all of this, and actually being steadfast in our support, despite the fact that there has been some waverings and criticism on the other side of the Atlantic. We have stood firm with Ukraine.
Yes.
And I think the vast majority of people actually think that is absolutely the right thing to do.
Yes, and I mean, Britain has been steadfast in its support for Ukraine. They've been training Ukrainian troops, haven't they, over the last number of years. So, I mean, to see the Ukrainians here today, along with a number of NATO troops, I mean, that is representative of our collaborative efforts. I mean, we're there in Estonia, aren't we? British troops are there in Estonia. It's right that NATO troops are represented today as part of that military procession.
I actually feel quite emotional talking to those two, because they're here doing something which is ceremonial, but these are two young men who have colleagues back at home and who will themselves go back at home and whose lives are very much on the line.
Yeah.
Will those lives be lost? It's really difficult.
Yeah.
I think it's a really difficult thing, and it's incredibly brave of them, actually, in everything that they do. And I think it's absolutely right that they're being welcomed so warmly here.
And didn't that bring it home when Major Andre just said there that he hopes he'll have a celebration of his own for his own country? Victory in Ukraine, he hopes, will come soon. And it brings it back to what we are marking today, that 80th anniversary of VE Day and the celebrations that broke out across Europe. And Ukraine is hoping they'll experience something like that again.
Yeah. Should we talk to the Minister for Veterans, Al Carnes, who's here? Good to see you this morning.
Great to be here. Thank you so much.
As I say, I do feel quite emotional after talking to those two. It's quite something to be involved in all of this today.
Absolutely. Well, I served for 24 years in the Marines, and to hear the Ukrainians with you there is really, really poignant. The fact that they're marching as part of the parade demonstrates that all the freedoms that perhaps sometimes we take for granted aren't free. And we have a war on the edge of Europe that, even by now, in breakfast between the Russians and the Ukrainians, will have had 500 casualties. It's a really, really damning. It's a shame.
And it brings it home, doesn't it? Talking to Major Andre there, wanting the same things that we experienced 80 years ago, and so many people now take for granted the freedoms that so many laid down their lives for.
I think that's exactly true. What I would say is freedom isn't free, and what the Ukrainians are showing, and indeed European and Western support to the Ukrainians are showing, you've got to stand up and fight for what you believe in. And I think that's why, you know, just behind us we can see Buckingham Palace and everyone setting up for VE Day, why this is such an important day and an important week for all of the veterans across the country.
Yeah, it's what I really like about an event like today, and especially whilst we still have some, is a proper way to say thank you to those veterans from that time. And it's a beautiful moment, isn't it, that we have a 100-year-old veteran who is going to start this parade off today.
It's amazing. I've met so many World War II veterans up and down the country. They're the greatest generation, and we owe them so much. They stood up and defended the freedoms that we all enjoy, 80 years ago. And it's remarkable, and it's great to have them here.
But what do we do for our veterans today? I mean, as veterans, as with the last Veterans Minister, you are also a veteran, which I think is a very important perspective because of all the financial pressures and everything else which is going on. You at least must have a personal view of how we treat not only our current veterans, but actually those who are still serving. We've had all this issue with military housing lately.
Yeah, so what I would say is, I'm really here to talk about Valour, which is our new announcement, which is a new structural reform of how we support veterans. The reality is, over the last 100 years, no government has really taken responsibility for its veterans. It's pushed it down to the third sector. And so today we're seeing a new structure at the national level, the regional level and the local level that will hopefully, over the medium to longer term, provide a completely renewed support mechanism for those individuals that we owe so much. So it's a fantastic. It's got £50 million behind it, which is great in this fiscal environment.
Can I ask, how does that get put into place then? Because there are people now, and I know a number, who are suffering terribly with mental health issues and all the rest of it. And it's so difficult, and trying to get back into civilian life is very, very hard for people.
Yeah, what I would say is over 80% of veterans, when they leave the military, go into work and thrive. There are percentages that need lots of support. And what we've got to do as a government, make sure those mechanisms are in place to get support. So Up Courage, for example, we've had 34,000 referrals. That's to deal with PTSD in particular. What Valour will do, it will help restructure, work with the third sector to sort of harness their flexibility and agility, but ensure they get the right services at the right point in time, make sure no veteran goes without.
And what's going to be done about military housing? Because we've seen horrendous conditions for our armed forces personnel, damp and mould. I mean, it's not right, is it?
So I've 24 years in the military. I've lived in those houses.
Yeah.
The reality is those houses were built, some of them in the 1950s. We haven't had the ability to buy them back, knock them down and build them back. The Annington deal, which we just did, saves £230 million a year. It allows us to grip that estate and actually deliver a long-term strategy to deliver the houses that our defence personnel need. The defence housing strategy will come out after the summer, which will look at a once-in-a-lifetime generation to sort that problem out, which just shows that this government has a bias for action and getting things done.
And how are you going to attract, just briefly, because we are almost out of time with you, but talking about the next generation, and we're here today remembering the greatest generation, but looking ahead to the future, how are you going to attract young people to the armed forces and retain them as well?
Yeah, so one thing I would say to all of your listeners is join the military. I joined straight out of school and I had a fantastic time. I served all over the world with the best people. The narrative and the adventure and the camaraderie you get when you join is second to none. We've actually got lots of people join. What we've got to do is make sure the process for joining is easier, less bureaucratic, and people can get in nice and fast and enjoy a fantastic career in the military.
Yeah, well, I know it is the making of many a man, but many a woman as well now. You look like a Maroon.
Thank you. I'll take that as a compliment.
You do, you've got the look. It's a pleasure to see you, Minister. Thank you
for having me on today.
Thank you very much. Now, of course, crowds are beginning to gather down at the Mall. We can see a number of them now. They are growing in number, aren't they?
They're certainly getting
two
here.
or three people deep there. Ahead of today's military procession and flypast, GB News presenter Ben Leo is down there for us, chatting to all those people on the Mall. Morning to you, Ben.
Good morning, Stephen, Ellie and viewers at home. Yeah, still a little bit chilly. I'm slightly jealous of you both in your warm cabin, but, you know, I'll take one for the team. I'm just outside the gates to Clarence House here, where, because Buckingham Palace is being refurbed, it may well possibly be that the King is inside there right now, having breakfast, getting ready for the big day. I've been making friends here down on the Mall. I'm joined by three ladies. Good evening, or good morning, ladies. Not there yet, are we? What's your names?
Marina.
Marina.
Victoria.
Victoria.
And Kate.
Victoria, there we go. Little nods, royal nods there. How long have you been here, ladies? Why did you come?
Here about 6:30, and to us it's really important that the sacrifice that our men and women made all those years ago is not forgotten, and it's what makes us British.
Yeah, indeed. And why are you at this particular spot?
It's a good spot because opposite Clarence House, hopefully all the royals will come out this way, possibly walk this way, might get a handshake or a little wave.
So you're hoping maybe the King may pop out, he'll walk over and say hello to you?
Absolutely, it's always a joy to see the royal family and to get a chance to see His Majesty. It's what, you know, we're Brits, is what we do.
And if you were lucky enough to have a chat with the King, what would you say to him?
Just to tell him that we all support him and that it's lovely to see him out and about and, yeah, give him a wave back.
And what are you most looking forward to today?
Oh, the flypast. Definitely the flypast.
Some Spitfires, Lancaster bombers.
Definitely the Red Arrows.
Red Arrows, yeah, indeed, indeed. Well, look, I spoke to some other revellers a bit earlier today. Here's what they had to say about today's special day. Stephen, Ellie, viewers at home, let me give you a little bit of taste of colour here from the Mall. Let's cross the road. We're not allowed to stop, so we have to walk and talk. If you pan to the left, look at that. A sight to behold, the Union flag draped all the way along. One for the ages. And just to the right-hand side, Buckingham Palace, of course, where the royals will sit as the parade starts. Still some building work going on as we prepare. It is still early doors. And the crowd's here beginning to gather at the side of the Mall. Yeah. Why are you here today?
I wanted to be here, actually, to be fair. Very bucket list moment for me. I've never done this before.
I was going to say, is this your first sort of royal venture?
Yeah, for first time. I wanted to be here. VE my grandfather was in the war as well. So, yeah, I wanted to be part of the atmosphere. I wanted to be part of the celebrations day.
The children at school, what age do you teach, and are they aware of VE Day?
Yes, in fact, I've got 3 of them who are processing today, who are marching.
Oh, amazing.
So children in my class are with Claygate Scouts today, and so they were really happy that their teacher was going to come and watch them and cheer them on, so I'm going to be shouting their names when they go past.
Brilliant. You must be really proud of them.
I am. It's lovely to see them.
I'm on hat patrol today. I love the hats. We'll come down to you in a second.
Hello.
Morning. How are you doing?
I'm doing
What's
fine.
your name?
Liz.
Liz. Good morning. I love your hat. Did you make it yourself?
I did make it myself. Actually.
Is this your first royal sort of shindig?
No. I was here for the Platinum Jubilee actually as well. Yeah.
And why do you love it so much? Why do you make the effort to come down here and acknowledge the royals and soak in the atmosphere?
I don't know, I just think it's a really special time and it's worth commemorating, especially VE Day, because it means so much for all of Europe, not just the UK. Whereas I think with the royal stuff I've come down for, that's very unique to the UK, really.
So there we go, the excitement building, the crowds building, and even now as the police officers walking past, a presence building as the hours go on. Thousands deployed onto the streets today. Catch up with me in the next hour or so, Ellie and Stephen. I think I'm going to nick Victoria's Union flag here to keep myself a bit warm, but speak to you in just a bit.
Yeah, all right. Ben, thanks very much indeed. Let's talk to constitutional expert Sir Michael Ellis, who's still with us this morning.
I've got gloves.
You've got gloves.
They're at a premium.
That was a good idea.
I bet they are. One of the things I'm really looking forward to, I know we mentioned it in the last hour, but we are getting this reenactment of the speech made by Churchill.
Yes.
Which is, I think, is going to be a real sense of being able to take us just right back to that moment.
It really is, and it's the camaraderie as well. I mean, Churchill was a great figure, and he was, of course, a very rarefied figure to the people of this country in World War II, but he was also someone that they related to, and hearing his sonorous tones, I think, is going to be very evocative of that particular era. And of course, his speeches were so famous. He put a lot of work into his speeches. I mean, it wasn't sort of a natural thing. He just, in 2 minutes, he literally spent a lot of time preparing his speeches. They were he knew how important they were. And it was about the international impact as well. I mean, his speeches had a massive impact around the world to Allied powers, And of course, he was the enemy knew. The Nazis knew just how effective his speeches were.
Yeah, they really were so effective, weren't they? So, Michael, we were just so moved talking to two Ukrainian soldiers who are marching alongside our troops today. I mean, that is really poignant, isn't it, that we have really NATO troops marching as well as Ukrainian troops?
We do, and there are a dozen NATO countries marching. There's about 3 or 4 soldiers going to be from each country, about 12 countries from NATO represented. Poland, I think, has sent 7. Albania has sent some soldiers. The United States will be represented. Having Ukraine here, I think, it really brings home the importance of the recognition of what VE Day was. It was the victory over an existential threat to this country, and of course those Ukrainian soldiers have a threat to themselves when they go into action.
Is that how we keep something like this relevant for now and for future generations? Is that we have to look back as well as evolving it into looking at current situations?
I think that's right. We've got to we look to the past, but we also at the same time have to have an eye on the future.
Yes.
And the present now, of course, is where we see the presence of the Commonwealth. Now 56 members of the Commonwealth, they'll be represented. Their flags will be carried by British Army signallers, in fact, and Canada will be here. They have their own armed forces here carrying their flag. The Australians, the Australian and New Zealand Defence Force, they'll be carrying their own flag. So there'll be a real international contingent here in the procession that we're going to see later on. And I think that reflects, of course, the camaraderie of the Allied powers in World War II and how important that was to the eventual Allied victory. So I think we're going to see some important symbolism here, and we're in the right place to see that symbolism, aren't we? So.
Yeah, I was just going to say, we've just showed some old footage there of people processing round the Victoria Monument, which you forget, you become so used to it, the fact it's just sort of behind us.
Yes.
And yet it is, along with the palace, of course, just this huge piece of important symbolism.
Well, that's it, Stephen. And actually, funnily enough, even the Queen Victoria Monument connects to Winston Churchill, because it isn't a well-known fact that Winston was actually at the unveiling of the Victoria Monument in 1911, when he was a much younger minister. He was Home Secretary, I believe, at the time, and he was present when King George V unveiled the monument in 1911. It wasn't completed until 1924, but the symbolism of that monument, the statues around it, reflect the British imperial effort of Queen Victoria and the later years, so and the Commonwealth that was to be. So it's a resonant time with history, and we're in a resonant location for that. And there's a lot to look forward to.
Yeah. There certainly is. So, Michael Ellis, thank you very much for your time this morning. It's been really good to see you.
Really nice to see you.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Now, Michael he's got his gloves on, but he is freezing like the rest of us. So it feels odd to say summer's on the way.
But it is, we can assure you.
It's going to be a hot summer, and if you want to spend it swanning around our beautiful Isles in a fantastic full-berth motorhome, you could, you know. It's worth more than 67 grand, and we'll give you 5 grand for petrol, all tax-free. If you fancy that, here's how you enter.
Courtesy of Marquis Leisure, you could be driving away with this brand new Elnag Baron 560 motorhome. It comfortably sleeps 4, comes with sky roof, integrated kitchen and bathroom, and is worth over £67,000. And that's not all, as we'll also give you a further £5,000 in tax-free cash to make sure that wherever this motorhome takes you, it takes you there in style. For another chance to win the lot, text WIN to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus 1 standard network rate message. Or text BONUS to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus 1 standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB13 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 6th of June. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand. Good luck.
Well, of course, this is a very special GB News breakfast commemorating VE Day 80. Up next, we're going to tell you how the King and Queen plan to celebrate today with our royal correspondent, Cameron Walker.
I'm Christopher Hope. From pop stars to politicians, I'll interview anybody in a pub who's got a political opinion. Join me every Friday on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube or gbnews.com, or wherever you get your podcasts. This is GB News, the People's Channel.
Sir Jacob Rees-Mogg's State of the Nation, Monday to Thursday from 8 p.m.
Questions include, do you relax in a drawing room or lounge? I think the answer's obvious there. Do you have a big flat screen TV? Yeah, I do actually. And who did you cheer on in the boat race? Easy, Oxford, albeit unsuccessfully. That gives you an idea of where I stand, but let's quiz my panel, who will get points. And we all know that points make prizes. So, Lloyd, is it called a drawing room or a lounge?
A lounge.
A lounge. Tim, drawing room or a lounge?
Sitting room.
It's called a sitting room. So, well, I actually call it a winter parlour in Somerset. So none of us get any points for calling it a drawing room. There's always an agreeable chill in my home. Tim, true or false?
Of your home, yes.
No, of yours. You've been to stay.
This is a very interesting one, and actually, yes, I think it's true.
Okay.
I think in my house it is true, because I've got wooden windows.
You've got 5 points. You're getting quite posh. Lloyd?
True, my office manager used to have to wear a coat when he came into my house.
All right, following on with Lloyd, scrambled eggs are strictly for breakfast.
Oh, no, false.
False, you get another 5 points for that. You are quite posh. I get points for that as well, actually. Tim? Scrambled eggs?
No, not just for breakfast.
Not just for breakfast. We're a very posh team.
So it's not posh to think.
All right. I don't have a downstairs loo, Lloyd.
Well, I don't at the moment because it's under refurbishment.
But under normal circumstances?
Under normal circumstances, yes.
All right, so that gets you no points on that one. Tim?
Fans of Are You Being Served will know that the test for being lower middle class is having a downstairs loo and being within walking distance of a mainline station, and I have both.
GB News, the People's Channel.
This is Britain's Newsroom, where your voice matters.
It's just astonishing. With expert analysis and honest opinion, we don't just keep you informed.
We bring you unique perspectives you won't see anywhere else.
Can't argue with any of that. When the news happens, it happens here.
On Britain's Newsroom, weekdays from 9:30 a.m.
Only on GB News.
In the GB Newsroom, we bring you the news as it happens.
With our team of dedicated journalists across the UK,
we're ready to keep you up to date with what's happening every half an hour, every single day. Bulletins here on GB News,
the People's Channel,
Britain's news channel.
You do this now.
It's 8:29. Now, the King will be joined by senior members of the royal family later on this afternoon as the military procession makes its way from Whitehall to Buckingham Palace.
But this year's commemoration marks a poignant milestone too, as it's the first major VE Day anniversary without any of the royals who stood on that palace balcony during that historic first celebration 80 years ago.
Well, our royal correspondent, Cameron Walker, is here. Good morning, Cameron.
Good morning.
I've got to ask, are you looking forward to today?
I'm really looking forward to it. It's always amazing being here by Buckingham Palace when you've got the pomp and pageantry of the British Armed Forces marching down the Mall. And what I always love about events like this is seeing the dedication of the crowds who queue and camp out and have been waiting for hours in the freezing cold just for a glimpse of the royal family and just to be part of those commemorations. And as you say, both of you, very poignant, of course, because just under 80 years ago, on that balcony behind us was King George VI, Queen Elizabeth, Princess Elizabeth, later Queen Elizabeth II, and Princess Margaret. And as you say, of course, the late Queen no longer with us, so no one in living memory will be on that balcony. But what we do have is her descendants and the descendants of the royal family. And King Charles and Queen Camilla are very much kind of looking forward to, I'm told, sitting with 50 veterans from World War II by Queen Victoria Memorial and joining in the celebrations with them.
And there's that wonderful anecdote, isn't there, Cameron, of Queen Elizabeth, Princess Elizabeth at the time, on VE Day, being allowed to sneak out into the crowds and just take part in that celebratory atmosphere. I mean, that must have been incredible for her. She said it was one of the best nights of her life.
Yeah, it certainly was, and she did speak about it when she was alive. So she snuck out of a side gate round the back of the palace alongside her sister, and was wearing her uniform cap. And she said she was terrified of being recognised, so she pulled the uniform cap right down over her eyes. But the soldier she was with, who was a higher rank than her at the time, said, "I will not be seen with an improperly dressed person," and so she had to put her cap back up on top, so people did recognise her. And then she was seen dancing. Well, she talked about dancing and linking hands with people on Whitehall, just outside Downing Street. She was rumoured to end up at the Ritz Hotel, just the other side of Green Park, with her sister as well, and walked back through the park to Buckingham Palace afterwards. And of course, cheering. It must have been weird for her, cheering her mother and father from the balcony with the crowds, because usually she would be on the balcony. Yeah.
See, what strikes me about that is that, and she, as you said, it's one of the highlights of her life, really, is that was her with her people, or those who would become her people. And what we're seeing today is the fact that the King and Queen will be with their people, actually not quite as distant on the balcony, but at the memorial.
Yeah, it's incredibly rare, I think, for members of the royal family to not be actually physically inside the palace, but instead on this specially built kind of dais. And as you say, with the people, with those veterans who were fighting during the Second World War, most of which must be over 100 by now. So it will be particularly poignant and special. And it's not just the King and Queen we're going to be seeing by the Queen Victoria Memorial there. We've got the Prince and Princess of Wales, we've got Duke and Duchess of Edinburgh, Princess Anne, Tim Lawrence, her husband, and the Duke of Kent as well. So all the working members, senior working members of the royal family will be there.
And it will be wonderful to see that very special bond, that historic bond between the British royal family and the armed forces.
Yeah, it certainly is. Of course, King Charles is head of the armed forces. A number of senior working members of the royal family are colonels of various regiments. As we know, Grenadier Guards will be marching today. Queen Camilla is royal colonel of that particular regiment. So it is pretty poignant for them, and they do take a huge interest, clearly, in what the armed forces do. And let's not forget that what the soldiers we're going to be seeing and members of the Royal Air Force and Navy marching down the Mall, they're not just there for ceremonial show. They are serving soldiers who will, be deployed on active operations.
Yeah, they certainly are. They're
That's
the
right,
real
remember.
deal, each and every one of them. Cameron, we'll speak to you later, but for now, thanks very much indeed.
Thank you. Now, if you're heading out and about on this bank holiday Monday, here's your traffic and travel update.
Crash Law 24 sponsors GB News Traffic and Travel Report.
Good morning. This is the latest AI travel news from gbnews.com. Motorists on the M74 face restrictions due to a contraflow in both directions between Junction 11 and Junction 9. Additionally, the southbound on-slip at Junction 10 is closed, requiring drivers to follow local signed diversions and anticipate extended travel times. On the M4, resurfacing work is underway eastbound at Junction 37 Pyle, closing the exit slip road and hard shoulder, with diversions in place. For those travelling through Warrington, expect delays on the M6 northbound, as a broken-down vehicle has closed one of two lanes on the exit slip at Junction 21A to the M60. For more travel news, go to gbnews.com.
Crash Law 24 sponsors GB News Traffic and Travel Report.
Well, still to come, Paul Coyte will have all your latest sporting news. He's warm and cosy in the studio, as we sit here at the Palace, but he's jealous because he's missing a treat not being down here. But we'll check in with Paul and get all the latest for you in just a moment.
Good Afternoon Britain isn't just about us. The wonderful thing about this programme is it's about everyone watching. It's an interactive programme.
Well, there absolutely is something to see here, and we're going to be talking about it more. Whether it's breaking royal news, please bring us up to date, or indeed a particularly punchy speech in the House of Commons.
Very, very curious.
We bring it to you live, and then we bring you live reaction as well.
That's Good Afternoon Britain, weekdays from midday.
Only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
The royal family is an enduring symbol of tradition, unity and pride for Britain. At GB News, we celebrate what makes this country great. In our new Royal Newsletter series, you can join me, Cameron Walker, for Inside the Palace, an exclusive look every week that takes you beyond the gates and brings you the very latest from those at the heart of the monarchy. Never miss a royal moment again. Sign up now. Go to gbnews.com/royal newsletter and get the latest straight to your inbox.
It's Patrick Christie's Tonight, and here we do things differently. It's explaining the absolute madness of this, doesn't it? It's explosive. I mean, this is very good. It's lively.
850. Your government sat there, Sean, and it did nothing.
It's controversial. And the Middle East has been in turmoil since before I was born. It's everything you need to kickstart your evening. Everyone's had their Weetabix tonight. I love to see it. That's Patrick Christie's Tonight, weeknights from 9 p.m. Only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Hi, I'm Michelle Dewberry, and my show is your opportunity to cut through all the noise and dive in headfirst to some robust debates. Ideas clash.
Situation,
no,
isn't it? Because the failure is...
You're deliberately avoiding my point. Nothing's held back.
And if you think this is the end of it, wait for more.
And we do not shy away from the difficult stuff. Sometimes I want to shake people and say, if only you understood. So join me on Jubes & Co. weeknights at 6 p.m, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
I'm Christopher Hope. From pop stars to politicians, I'll interview anybody in a pub who's got a political opinion. Join me every Friday on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube or gbnews.com, or wherever you get your podcasts. This is GB News, the People's Channel.
This is Britain's Newsroom, where your voice matters.
It's just astonishing. With expert analysis and honest opinion, we don't just keep you informed.
We bring you unique perspectives you won't see anywhere else.
Can't argue with any of that. When the news happens, it happens here.
On Britain's Newsroom, weekdays from 9:30 a.m.
Only on GB News.
In the GB Newsroom, we bring you the news as it happens.
With our team of dedicated journalists across the UK.
We're ready to keep you up to date with what's happening every half an hour, every single day. Bulletins here on GB News,
the People's Channel,
Britain's news channel.
Welcome back to a very special edition of GB News Breakfast Live at the Palace, celebrating VE Day 80. And it's
can I just say, because I just caught a glimpse of us there, I forget this is behind us because we can't move very easily in these seats.
Oh, it is.
And you sort of forget
You
it's
shouldn't
there.
forget. It's glorious, isn't it?
Oh, so beautiful to be so close up and personal.
I think we've got the best spot in the world today.
I think we might
Don't
do.
you? It's just glorious. And these gardens look absolutely immaculate. There was a lawnmower going at 6 a.m, wasn't there? Do you remember that? So that you can imagine the preparation now. And there are now police officers dotted every, 50 metres? I mean, incredible the scenes and the preparation that's going on behind us, the amount of people that are involved. And actually, we've just had a tweet from somebody saying, can you thank all the people that are working today, whether that be the police, the ambulance service, the fire service, I mean, the people that are even maintaining the lawns behind us.
Yeah,
thank you.
Yeah, they do an incredible job. They really do. But this is why we say it's the best of British. It's not just the pomp and pageantry that we see. It is all the work that goes into it and all the planning and everything else. It's just phenomenal how it comes together.
Yeah, it really is. And we're going to have special coverage for you throughout the day here on GB News.
Right, should we get some special coverage of the sport?
I think we should.
Yes, in our warm, cosy studio, Mr.
You're
Paul
rubbing
Coy,
it
how
in.
are you?
You are. I'm great, but you're rubbing it in. You know how much I want to be there, and it's right as before I'm about to come on.
But at least you're warm.
It's wonderful. We're so lucky to be here, and I'm sort of looking. God, I wish I was there. Do you get to actually stick around once you finish at 9:30? You manage to hang around there. Are they keeping? Are they actually going to allow you to be there for everything happening?
Allow us to stay.
Well, we hope so.
We hope so.
You're not going to have... Move along, you two. If you can just move along. Move along.
We might do. You never know with this lot.
What a great place to be. Now, the other place to be is probably in Sheffield at the moment for the World Snooker Championships. The actual championships have been going nearly 100 years, have only left the country 5 times. 98 years, the World Snooker Championships. It's certainly a lot different than it used to be. It used to be like in a pub and then moved on to smaller places, very smoke-filled arenas, and then it went to the Crucible, and now we know how big it is today. Mark Williams, 3 times winner, could be, in those 98 48 years, the oldest winner of the World Snooker Championship at the age of 50. But in his way is Zhao Jintong from China. That's when I mentioned the fact that it's only left the country 5 times, and it could well do that again. Although Zhao Jintong actually does live in Sheffield, so he could end up going about a mile down the road. Now, the way things are going at the moment, Zhao leads 11-6, 7-1 up he was before, so many people hoping for a comeback from Mark, and that continues at 2 o'clock this afternoon. Goes right the way through until tonight. Some other things, also in football, we should mention Harry Kane. Harry Kane, England captain, of course, now plays at Bayern Munich, has won his first trophy. Always has taken a lot of stick over many years, 14 years as a professional footballer, but Bayern Munich have won the Bundesliga. He wasn't there at the time. He wasn't actually there for the game. They played Leipzig on Saturday, only ended up 2-2, although he was actually not allowed to play because he'd had too many yellow cards. But in a Bavarian bar, they did watch the other game go on that happened yesterday, and that was Bayer Leverkusen, who drew with Freiburg. Let's see Harry looking happy and singing. Good old Harry. So anyway, congratulations, Harry Kane. I don't know what it means for the future, though. I don't know whether it means he's now going to stay in Germany, he's going to stay with Bayern Munich after 2 years, or whether maybe now it's time to head back. A few other results from yesterday. Brentford 4, Manchester United 3. Manchester United with bigger fish to fry win on Thursday. They'll be playing Bilbao, and that's at Old Trafford. They're already 3-0 up. And Spurs drew with West Ham, and also they've got a huge game on Thursday as well against Bodo Glimt. Currently 3-1 up, but they're going into the Arctic Circle on Thursday night. But more about that later on in the week. I think it's now go back to you guys, and I'll continue to be jealous of you sitting outside Buckingham Palace. But it is warm in here, I'll tell you that.
Thanks, Coity.
Yeah, well, you see, take the win, Paul, take the win. Good to see you. Thank you very much indeed. Now, it is cold, as we keep saying. If you fancy some holiday sun, though, and who wouldn't, here are the top European destinations.
Ready to soak up that holiday sunshine?
Won't we need some cover?
No worries. All sorted.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations Forecast.
Despite some dry and sunny weather across parts of the UK, it's a different story across parts of Europe, with heavy showers and thunderstorms for many of us, particularly across parts of Spain, southern parts of France and parts of Italy too, seeing some heavy thunderstorms throughout Tuesday afternoon. Southern parts of Greece and Turkey probably holding on to the best of the sunshine through Tuesday afternoon. Highs here around 26 degrees, but there will be some sunshine on offer for many of us over the next couple of days, and highs in Tenerife around 24 or 25 degrees.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations Forecast.
Do stay with us. We're going to be joined by Dawn Newsroom going through the papers today. We're going to be taking a look at the VE Day coverage.
Mornings don't have to be tiresome, especially if you have the right company.
Wake up to news as it happens, opinion and debate, and of course, a little bit of entertainment too.
Because when the kettle's on, we're on.
That's Breakfast on GB News, a show worth waking up for.
Every morning from 6 a.m.
Only on the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
We'll spread the news, you spread the word.
Sir Jacob Rees-Mogg's State of the Nation, Monday to Thursday from 8 p.m.
This is the King's son using the King's court to sue the King's minister. Yes. Constitutionally, this is pretty rum, isn't it? Can you think of a previous historic example?
It's unprecedented. That word's often used with regards to Harry, but I do think he's shone his light into a bunch of nettles that we never go to. Why don't we even know how much royal security costs us. And by the way, if you put in a freedom of information, you won't get a result from it because they say that would be to imperil the people they're protecting. But the truth is, let's be honest, the Duke of Gloucester on a Sunday afternoon opening, I don't know, a leisure pool in Grimsby, or even, dare I say it, the Duchess of Edinburgh rocking up to the National Memorial Arboretum and doing a very good job. I refuse to believe that they are more in need of security than Prince Harry is.
They don't get it.
They do. I'm sorry. They do get. Royals, when they're working, do get security.
If they're doing specific events,
Yes,
there are security around the events. But you can see the Duke of Kent walking up St James's Street by himself.
Yes.
There isn't this.
And when they're working is the critical word there, because Harry has stepped back from all of his frontline royal duties.
But once a prince, always a prince. You can't actually unpick
He's a prince emeritus.
that. Well, but both of you presumably believe in hereditary monarchy, and if you believe in hereditary monarchy, you've got to bear the cost.
Comes with the duty of service, which he set aside.
Oh,
It's not the job. It's not the job of the armed police to provide emotional support bodies to somebody who has abdicated their responsibilities as a member of the royal family, and then is actually, instead of going into, he could have picked, there are all kinds of relatively anonymous lives that Harry could have chosen, right? He could have gone anywhere in the world. Instead, he has moved to California, where he and his wife continually try, with increasing lack of success, to cash in.
GB News, the People's Channel.
The royal family is an enduring symbol of tradition, unity and pride for Britain. At GB News, we celebrate what makes this country great. In our new royal newsletter series, you can join me, Cameron Walker, for Inside the Palace, an exclusive look every week that takes you beyond the gates and brings you the very latest from those at the heart of the monarchy. Never miss a royal moment again. Sign up now. Go to gbnews.com/royal newsletter and get the latest straight to your inbox.
.47, good morning. We're going to take you through the papers. Dawn Neeson is back.
Hello,
Good morning.
Stephen.
No,
it's a joy to be here with you.
You always give the impression that I don't like you. You know I love you.
Thank you very much. Yes, you almost convinced me. But what a wonderful day and what a beautiful place to be presenting the papers.
Yeah, it's an honour, isn't it? So should we take a look at the general coverage, shall we, of VE Day across the papers?
As a former national newspaper, I just want to talk about how the papers have handled it. Now, over the weekend, there were lots of pull-outs. Obviously, you got bigger papers, so you could do that. I think today, considering how momentous today is, 80 years, I think they were very disappointing.
Really?
I do. And in particular, I'm going to have to say, I think the Times, which their VE Day coverage is led on Prince Harry.
Right.
Now, that's not what today is about.
Yeah.
No.
Well, the royal family themselves has said they don't want a distraction by Prince Harry.
And it's completely, honestly, Ellie, it's completely overshadowed the story in most of the papers.
Such a shame.
It's all about Harry and that ridiculous interview he gave where, talking about his father in such a disrespectful way with the, I don't know how long he's got to live. I mean, who says that about their own father in private, let alone on live TV?
Do you think part of the issue for the papers is that VE Day itself is on Thursday, and on Thursday they'll be full of it?
I think, well, I'm not sure they will be. I think because yesterday they did all the pull-outs and things like that, which was a Sunday, and it says they had bigger papers in any case. I think today would have been the day to do it. It's a bank holiday. There's not a lot of other news around that hasn't been around for a while. Today would be today to really celebrate. People are going to be at home with their families, having street parties. Today would be the day to celebrate, I think, and to remember the sacrifices of the people that have gone. And as we keep saying, this is the last time we're going to be able to do this. I mean, the people that remember it, including my mum, who was at a street party as a 4-year-old, they remember it, but they're not going to be around for much longer. So, and I think today is the day we do that. We don't think about the likes of Prince Harry. And I'm talking about him now, which is really annoying.
Oh, yeah.
Some of the papers have done it exceptionally well. The Daily Star and the Mirror have done it particularly well, where they are talking to veterans. Their pictures aren't of spoilt princes. They are of people that are actually there and actually did their bit.
Oh, what's that message you had, Ellie? Look at that message.
Oh, I'll see if I can dig it out, yeah.
Because someone sent in a message which actually sums that up beautifully.
I'll see if I can find it.
It's a, I can't think who it was, but she said it's a day to celebrate ordinary people doing extraordinary things.
Yes, and I think that's absolutely it. And while the military and the royals, it's going to be magnificent later on, and I know GB News are covering it all day. Go on, Ellie.
Susan says, enjoy celebrating the ordinary people that did extraordinary things 80 years ago. They saved our country.
Yes.
God save the king.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
And lovely message, Susan.
Yeah, and it really is. And fair play to Susan. I think lots of people are feeling that. I personally am feeling that. I'm lucky enough to have my mum with me in her mid-80s now to talk about it, to tell of what it was like during the Blitz in East London. And you know what, Ellie, what ordinary women went through.
Yes.
While the men...
And it's right that they're remembered as well.
Absolutely. And I think it's important we talk about what our families did. And that's what some of the papers have done very well.
Keep the home fires burning.
Literally keep the home fires burning. I mean, my nan would tell the story of how the house next door was literally bombed. She put my mum, a baby, literally in a wheelbarrow, the possession she had, literally walked out the rubble and wheeled the baby down the road. And now, these days we moan about if the Wi-Fi goes down.
Yeah.
And this is within living memory, Stephen.
Do you think, we were talking about it earlier, one of our guests mentioned this, do you think we've lost the Blitz spirit that we are so famed for as Brits?
Don't you? I don't think we even have to ask that question.
But then again, we're not going through that. It's like the survey that says, 48% of Brits, of young, Gen Zers or whatever, wouldn't take up arms to fight for their country. Well, they might if we were under that sort of threat. And I think it might change. We've become soft because we're in peace. It's the price of peace.
Yeah, absolutely. And certainly our generation, we have known peace and we've been incredibly lucky to do so. But it's interesting that the people that are giving interviews in the paper today, many people are getting in touch today to GB News, they are of an older generation.
Yeah.
And I do wonder how many people in their 20s today are thinking about what happened 80 years ago, what people went through to get to that point, to peace. And I'm just wondering if it's just a bank holiday.
Yeah, well, I hope that isn't the case.
Yeah.
Can we mention the Daily Star again, actually, because they're covering the Valor, which is this new scheme for veterans, and we had the Veterans Minister talking about it on a little bit earlier. But I mean, again, this has got to be applauded, hasn't it? That it's more for veterans. It seems to be a slightly more coordinated approach.
Yes, absolutely, because I think for too long we have neglected the veterans in this country, and this is a £50 million boost to our veterans and extra help for housing and healthcare. Look, it's brilliant, OK, but 50 million doesn't sound, in the great scheme of things, it doesn't sound that much. And we had a story we covered, I think it's about a week ago now, where we're talking about the current accommodation for military families, which is an appalling condition.
So poor.
It is. But again, well, you reassured us that work is being done on that, and he's a former Marine who's lived in that accommodation.
Exactly. Well, I hope that is the case.
Well, let's hope so.
When we covered the story, Stephen, many of the viewers and listeners got in touch saying, hold on a minute, we are putting illegal migrants who come across in the boats in hotels, paying for them to be warm and well fed, where our military families are living in damp, substandard conditions, and our pensioners, obviously we're going about the winter fuel allowance, are freezing still.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot that needs to be done in this country, but there is a lot to celebrate as well. And today is a day for celebration.
It really is, and we very much should do, absolutely.
Yeah, it is the best of it. I'm so excited to see this procession.
So excited,
I love to see, I mean, it's the military in all their finery, I think it's something
and we
to behold.
do that best. And a little shout out to the Daily Mail today, which have got a little graphic on page 9 of what you can see when, and the fly past in particular.
All very handy,
because we do like a fly past.
And the fly past will be
indeed.
absolutely fantastic, won't it?
It
Dawn,
will.
good to see
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Indeed.
Well, of course, flypast is dependent on the weather, and it might not be the warmest day, but I think the weather's going to hold out for that flypast, which is good news. Let's get the latest for you.
Heavy showers first thing will be followed by a warm, cosy day. Boxed boilers, sponsors of weather on GB News.
Good morning. Welcome to your latest GB News weather from the Met Office. There's a bit of a chilly start to Bank Holiday Monday today, but there's going to be plenty of sunshine on offer, but it will be feeling a little bit cooler than it did towards the end of last week, all thanks to high pressure across the UK. The only exception to the dry and sunny weather will be across the very far southeast of England, where we could see some showers, perhaps one or two of these heavy in places. But for the majority of us, plenty of dry weather around, plenty of blue skies and plenty of sunshine too. With that sunshine and with light winds, it's going to be feeling fairly pleasant. Temperatures in the south a little above average, 16, 17, perhaps 18 degrees. Close to average further north, though, around 13 or 14 degrees. And always feeling just a little bit cooler across the eastern coast with that onshore breeze. Across the northern half of the country, as we head through Monday evening, it's going to stay dry. 1 or 2 isolated showers affecting Shetland and Orkney through Monday evening. But for the most part, plenty of unbroken sunshine to end the day here. A little bit more cloud across parts of Northern Ireland, maybe Northern England too, but staying dry as we head through Monday evening. And any showers that we see across the very far south gradually starting to ease through Monday evening. So for much of England and Wales, it's going to be a dry end to Monday as well. As we then head through Monday night and into the start of Tuesday, plenty of dry weather around, plenty of clear spells on offer, and that likely to lead to quite a widespread frost across the country, perhaps as low as -3 or -4 in places. The exception again being the very far north and northwest of Scotland, where we could see a bit more cloud, but temperatures dropping down into the mid or high single figures, so that does mean quite a chilly start to the day on Tuesday across the board. But it will be a dry and bright start to the morning for many of us. A little cloud feeding in across eastern parts of England as we go through Tuesday morning, staying a little cloudy across the northwest too. But for much of us, plenty of sunshine, plenty of blue skies on offer again, and with those light winds, it'll be feeling pleasant in that sunshine. Again, in the south, we could see highs of 16, 17, perhaps 18 degrees, and even highs of 16 or 17 degrees across parts of Scotland and Northern Ireland too.
There will be a light breeze in the morning, leading to a warm front. Boxed heat pumps, sponsors of weather on GB News.
Crash Law 24 sponsors GB News Traffic and Travel Report.
Good morning. This is the latest AI travel news from gbnews.com. On the M62 westbound between junctions 24 and 22, a road traffic incident has closed 2 of the 3 lanes. Diversions are in place, and drivers should allow extra time for their journey. Moving south on the M4 at junction 37 Pyle, resurfacing work has closed the exit slip road and hard shoulder. Diversions are available, and motorists should plan accordingly. In Brighton, the A27 eastbound between the A23 and A270 has lane closures due to a broken down vehicle. Motorists are advised to find alternate routes due to ongoing disruptions. For more travel news, go to gbnews.com.
Crash Law 24 sponsors GB News Traffic and Travel Report.
You could be the next big winner on the road in this brand new Alnag Baron 560 motorhome, courtesy of Marquis Leisure. Imagine the fun you could have in this luxurious home from home worth over £67,000. We'll also give you £5,000 in tax-free cash to make your next getaway a great one. And it could be all yours. For another chance to win the lot, text WIN to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus 1 standard network rate message. Or text bonus to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus 1 standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB13 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 6th of June. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand.
It's Patrick Christie's Tonight, and here we do things differently.
It's explaining the absolute madness of this, doesn't it?
It's explosive.
I mean, this is very good.
It's lively.
850. Your government sat there, Sean, and it did nothing.
It's controversial.
And the Middle East has been in turmoil since before I was born.
It's everything you need to kickstart your evening.
Everyone's had their Weetabix tonight. I love to see it.
That's Patrick Christie's Tonight, weeknights from 9 p.m. Only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Hi, I'm Michelle Dewberry, and my show is your opportunity to cut through all the noise and dive in headfirst to some robust debates. Ideas clash.
Situation,
no,
because the failure is
you're deliberately avoiding my point. Nothing's held back.
And if you think this is the end of it, wait for more.
And we do not shy away from the difficult stuff. Sometimes I want to shake people and say, if only you understood. So join me on Jubes & Co. weeknights at 6 p.m. only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
very good morning to you as the sun has now risen over Buckingham Palace and Britain prepares to celebrate 80 years since the end of the Second World War.
VE Day, one of the most significant moments in our country's history. Battlefields fell silent across Europe and a weary world breathed again.
Hostilities will end officially at 1 minute after midnight tonight, Tuesday, the 8th of May.
Well, today we honour those who made the ultimate sacrifice for our country.
Germany, the enemy who drove all Europe into war, has been finally overcome.
Well, Victory in Europe Day marked not just the end of the conflict, but the dawn of peace, resilience and remembrance, a spirit that endures today.
The King will lead the nation in commemorations, paying thanks to the veterans as he joins them outside Buckingham Palace to watch the special military procession.
Well, as you know, we are live at Buckingham Palace this morning, in fact, throughout the day today, to witness 1,300 Armed Forces personnel march through central London, showcasing the very best of British pomp and pageantry.
Well, that includes the much-anticipated flypast, where the Royal Air Force will take to the skies over Buckingham Palace and to the Mall.
Ukrainian soldiers are set to join the procession, symbolising Britain's commitment to achieving peace on the world stage.
Well, huge crowds rejoiced on the streets after nearly 6 years of war, and today we'll be live across the country as Britain celebrates.
Yes, the best of British on display here outside Buckingham Palace on the Mall. Join me live where I'll be speaking to the crowds as they build and the excitement rises.
Good morning.
Good morning. Yes, we're here in the market town of Melton Mowbray in beautiful Leicestershire. What better place to be to celebrate the 80th anniversary of VE Day?
Yeah, Melton Mowbray has got a rich war history, but also, hello mate, there we go, a rich British culture, man on bike and the home of the pork pie. Anything can happen here. They're getting everything set up, spin around quickly, all of this stuff, they're getting everything set up here, people hard at work. This whole pedestrian street is going to be chock-a-block full of people ready to help commemorate a momentous day.
Yeah, stick with us.
It's going to be a dry and sunny bank holiday Monday for many of us, with plenty of sunshine on the cards, although it will be feeling a little bit cooler than it did towards the end of last week. Join me later for the full forecast with all the details.
It's just gone 9 o'clock. I'm Stephen Dixon.
I'm Ellie Costello, and this is a very special VE Day GB News breakfast live from the Palace.
Good morning to you. Welcome to the Palace. And actually, what you can probably see when you're busy waving your flag, darling, is on the balcony.
Yes.
All the workers are, and I think what they're doing now is attaching. They're attaching to the balcony the, what do they call it, Cameron, that goes over the edge?
Lovely red velvet.
Drape.
Drape. That's
Yes,
the word
drape,
for it.
that'll do.
Thanks for saving me
Need
there.
a woman for things like this.
So,
A drape.
so that is being prepared now. So we'll see that being pushed over.
Yes.
Or unfurled shortly.
Indeed. I'm actually told by a very well-informed source that the balcony itself is actually really small when you get onto it. There's not much space to stand, so that's why I see members of the royal family crouched next to each other, a bit like we are now, kind of shoulder to shoulder on the balcony, because it's really, really small, even though it looks big on the telly.
Oh, isn't that funny?
Yes.
But I always think there's something nice about it, because we often, if you visit London and you see Buckingham Palace and you see the balcony, it's all very nice. But it's when you see it being dressed, and it's that realisation that the royals will be on it at some point.
Absolutely. And the other point of the thing is the flag. which does not have the royal standard on there quite yet. Still got the Union flag, so the King not yet in London, but of course he will be hopefully in the next couple of hours.
Yes, and we're reflecting today, aren't we, Cameron? VE Day, 80 years ago today, and the royal family on that very balcony. And actually, Princess Elizabeth, as she was at the time, managed to sneak out on VE Day.
She did. Incredibly poignant, of course, because it is going to be the first year that Commemorations will not have a member of the royal family in living memory inside Buckingham Palace. But of course, Queen Elizabeth II has said herself, but when she was alive, she did a kind of radio interview where she talks about going out of a side gate of Buckingham Palace alongside her sister, Princess Margaret, and they joined in the crowds and the celebrations, waved to their parents on the balcony, danced down Whitehall as well, outside Downing Street, even rumoured to end up in the Ritz Hotel, the other side of Green Park, and then kind of rushed back. But I think what was really amazing, because she was part of the military herself during World War II, she was terrified of being recognised, she said, and pulled the uniform cap right down over her eyes. But the officer she was with, who was accompanying her in the crowd, says, "I will not be seen with an improperly dressed soldier." So she was told in no certain terms to dress properly, put her hat on properly, and she got recognised, so be it.
Yeah, no, well, quite right too. I quite like that. It's having to do as you're told, despite being a member of the royal family.
Yeah.
One of the things I'm looking forward to seeing today is the cenotaph being draped in the Union flag, which is something we haven't seen since the King unveiled it in 1920.
Yeah, a really long time, isn't it? The Union flag's already draping the cenotaph, and that is going to. It is already on there, yes, and it's part of the procession route. So the procession kicks off at around 12 o'clock, well, exactly 12, just after 12 o'clock, and it will be from Parliament Square, march down Whitehall, the 1,300 members of the armed forces, and up the Mall. And who's going to get the best shot of it? It will be the 50 World War II veterans who are joining the King, Queen, Prince and Princess of Wales, Duke and Duchess of Edinburgh, Princess Anne, Tim Lawrence, her husband, and the Duke of Kent on a specially built dais, which you may be able to see behind us, to watch them come up the Mall, which is around a mile long. So they're walking under Admiralty Arch and up to this position here outside Buckingham Palace.
It's just going to be incredible.
Oh, and then we've got the flypast, of course.
Yes. And
you like a flypast?
I love a flypast. Have you seen my tie?
I love
with
your
lots
tie.
of Spitfires on. Unfortunately, we're not going to be seeing any Spitfires today, but we are going to be seeing an iconic Lancaster bomber of the Battle of Britain memorial flight, alongside some more modern aircraft, with a spectacular finale of the Red Arrows with the red, white and royal blue smoke. They will be flying directly up the Mall over Buckingham Palace with members of the royal family on the balcony watching and waving to the crowds. It will be pretty spectacular afternoon of celebrations. Best of British.
Absolutely. No one does it better.
No,
Thanks, Cameron.
Thank you.
And it's worth the wait, isn't it, for those crowds that are beginning to gather down on the Mall ahead of today's military procession. And, of course, that fly past. GB News presenter Ben Leo is down there for us. Morning, Ben.
Really lucky today to be down here reporting on this. I've got a front row seat. Likewise, the crowds all down here on the Mall. The Union flag drapes all down towards Buckingham Palace. And as I said, the crowds are building as the hours go on. We're just a few hours away now from the parade starting and that epic flyover, which I'm personally very much looking forward to. I've spotted a few GB News viewers in the wild here on the side of the Mall. Good morning, ladies.
Hello.
How are you doing? You okay?
Very well, thank you. You?
Well, yeah, very well, thank you indeed. What time did you get here today?
6:30.
6:30?
Yeah.
That's not too bad, is it?
No, it isn't. You know, I have stayed over before, but today I thought no.
Oh, what did you go to? What did you go to before?
The coronation and the Queen's funeral.
And you camped over?
Yeah, I camped over.
Why did you come today for VE Day then? I mean, besides the obvious.
Well, because the soldiers have given out this freedom, you know, it's to like recognise them and cheer them on.
Yeah. Are you hoping to catch a glimpse of the royals today?
Oh, definitely, yeah, all for the royals.
Have you ever spoken to any of the royals on one of these events?
No, I've always missed them. I've always been on the other side of the road, like when King Charles and Prince William came out. I was this side of the road and they walked that way, but I did have a good glimpse of them, yeah.
And tell me, as a veteran of these sort of big events where the Royals are, what's it like being down here? Do you make friends with people you've never met before? What's the atmosphere like?
I've never met Catherine before, we met today, so
Oh.
I always meet someone. My family say, why do you always go on your own? I said, because you meet people anyway, so like...
So you came alone today?
Yeah,
and did you come alone today?
I came alone today, yes.
And how did you meet? Did you just bump into each other on the side?
I actually was here and Catherine came along and I said, this is a good spot because once they open the gates, you can like run up the Mall and get a good view of the balcony, see all the royals on the balcony and the flyover. You get a good view of the flyover because they obviously fly over Buckingham Palace.
Yeah, great
So,
stuff.
yeah.
Well, look, people making friends down here on the Mall. I mean, as I said, it's the best of British. The Union flag is flying. The atmosphere is growing, the love is growing. I did a little pre-recorded clip earlier, guys, for you to get a sense of where the tour will start. Take a look at this to give you an idea of what today will entail. Stephen, Ellie, viewers at home, just to give you an idea of where the parade will start from today. We're on Whitehall, where Sir Winston Churchill gave that famous speech on VE Day 1945. Down there is the cenotaph. You can see the spire and the clock of Big Ben in the background. The parade will wind its way all the way down Whitehall. And as I walk through Admiralty Arch, Trafalgar Square behind me, Whitehall is behind me as well, and now to the top of the Mall, where what a sight to behold. I keep saying it this morning, the Union flags draped all along the Mall, leading up to the Queen Victoria Memorial and indeed Buckingham Palace behind. And this is where the crowds will gather, either side, cheering on the parade, cheering on the spectacular flyover that will take place around 1 o'clock. And the royal family at the very end of the Mall, just outside Buckingham Palace, will be seated in those blue chairs, the King and Queen taking centre stage to observe the ceremonies.
Symbol for the future.
There we go. So just a little idea of where the parade will head from. And just behind me here, some revellers, very, very well equipped. We've got chairs, we've got brollies, we've got some chocky bars and, most importantly, loads and loads of cider. There we go. Back to you, Stephen and Ellie.
All right, Ben, thank you very much indeed. I'm not sure having cider on the streets of London is legal, actually.
And just outed them there. I'm not sure what the rules are with that, actually.
I think it's one of those daft rules that you're not allowed to drink. I don't know.
Today you'd probably be allowed.
Get away with it
it's in
today.
the spirit. Yeah.
I think so. We just need our hot coffee. We've got plenty of hot coffee this morning.
Plenty of that going.
To warm us through. In the meantime, should we chat with our reporter Adam Cherry, who's at Wellington Barracks this morning, where there is lots going on. Morning, Adam.
Good morning, guys. Yes, at Wellington Barracks, and I'm joined by Captain Hannah of the Ukrainian Armed Forces. Captain Hannah, thank you very much for joining us on GB News. Now, just tell us a little bit about why you're here today and what we can expect from the Ukrainian Armed Forces here outside Wellington Barracks.
So today we had a chance to take part in the historical moment, to participate in the parade in London for 80th anniversary of VE Day.
And what does it mean to you to be here today? We were just chatting off camera. You've been in London for 6 months, is that right? So what does it mean to be here today, celebrating this moment in history?
It's an honor for me and for us, for my colleagues too, to take part in this moment, to take part in this parade, because it's a very valuable event today.
Yeah. And so you'll be part of the procession later, part of around 1,300 in total, is that right? So it'll be a huge group of people walking down the Mall. What will that mean to you when you're walking down Birdcage Walk here towards Parliament Square?
Personally, I'm very happy to take part in this event, and also this is a very valuable moment to show to the whole world that we are fighting for our freedom, and we really appreciate it.
So that's important, right? Tomorrow, or not tomorrow, excuse me, that in the future, you will achieve your own peace, your own freedom, your own victory, and so that's partially why it's important to recognise the past. Is that part of the story here today for you guys?
Yeah, of course. We do a historical moment now, so we show the whole world our strength, our. We are really appreciate taking part in this parade, and also this is very valuable for us.
Well, thank you very much for joining us on GB News. Have a great day. Thank you. Guys, we'll have much more to come throughout the day here at the barracks and, of course, towards the procession itself later this morning. Stick around.
Adam Cherry, good stuff there at Wellington Barracks. Thank you very much indeed. Got a lovely tweet here from Kirsty Thompson Dunlop, who said both my grandfathers served, James Hornsborough Dunlop and William Thompson. One was listed as killed in action and showed up at home 6 months later. Can you imagine that feeling? One was a Japanese prisoner of war. Both survived. One passed in 1956 and the other passed in 1994.
Yeah, and another lovely message from A.E. Patterson, who says, you both look so proud to be there. Well, yes, we are.
Yeah,
actually,
we are.
It makes you proud to be British. He says it means it a lot to me watching this. My dad was a prisoner of war, and this celebration is well deserved for all the servicemen and women. I mean, well said. And what a celebration. And we are proud, actually. We're proud to do this job, but particularly proud on days like today, when it's part of celebrating who we are, what we are as a country and as a nation, and what those great men and women have done for our country and continue to do for our country. We need to salute them all.
Those ordinary people that did extraordinary things, and that's what today and days like this are all about.
Absolutely.
So it makes you feel good, doesn't it?
It does make you feel good.
And we'll tell you something else that makes you feel good. It's our biggest ever Great British giveaway. You could win a 4-berth motorhome worth over £67,000, but that's not all. Also giving away £5,000 in tax-free cash as well. So it's a prize package worth over 72 grand. It could all be yours. Here are the details that you need.
Courtesy of Marquis Leisure, you could be driving away with this brand new Elnag Baron 560 motorhome. It comfortably sleeps 4, comes with sky roof, integrated kitchen and bathroom, and is worth over £67,000. And that's not all, as we'll also give you a further £5,000 in tax-free cash to make sure that wherever this motorhome takes you, it takes you there in style. For another chance to win the lot, text WIN to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message, or text BONUS to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB13 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 6th of June. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand. Good luck.
Yeah, best of luck to you on that one. Lots more still to come on this very special VE Day GB News breakfast, including a very nice street party in the Midlands. I wonder who's going to be there.
Oh, hello everybody.
We're just making ourselves comfortable in 1940s Britain for you here in Melton Mowbray. I've got a copy of a newspaper from June 1940.
Go on, hold it up, let them have a look at that.
Daily Sketch.
We've got a Home Guard pocketbook from 1942, gas mask, which hopefully we won't need. Now, an Austin 7.
From 1931, that one is.
1931, and an Angela Caravan here, which is, I think, was it 1926? There you go.
1926, so I might have a little sleep in there a little bit later.
And Ye Old Pork Pie Shop. You can see the sign up there, I believe. So this is Melton Mowbray, the home of the pork pie. I believe later on we're going to be treated to some kind of pork pie exhibition as well. But these streets are going to be jam-packed full of people, aren't they?
Absolutely. There's lots of preparations going on. As you can see, huge amounts of bunting. There's going to be food. There's going to be 1940s music.
Yes.
There's going to be everything you need to celebrate 80 years since Victory in Europe Day. We'll be back in just a tick, but we're going to take a very short break. See you soon.
See you soon.
Good Afternoon Britain isn't just about us. The wonderful thing about this programme is it's about everyone watching. It's an interactive programme.
Well, there absolutely is something to see here, and we're going to be talking about it more.
Whether it's breaking royal news, please bring us up to date, or indeed a particularly punchy speech in the House of Commons.
Very, very curious.
We bring it to you live, and then we bring you live reaction as well.
That's Good Afternoon Britain, weekdays from midday.
Only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Hi, I'm Michelle Dewberry, and my show is your opportunity to cut through all the noise and dive in headfirst to some robust debates. Ideas clash.
Situation,
No,
isn't it?
because
the failure is
you're deliberately avoiding my point. Nothing's held back,
And if you think this is the end of it, wait for more.
and we do not shy away from the difficult stuff. Sometimes I want to shake people and say, if only you understood. So join me on Jubes and Kerr weeknights at 6 p.m. only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
The royal family is an enduring symbol of tradition, unity and pride for Britain. At GB News, we celebrate what makes this country great. In our new royal newsletter series, you can join me, Cameron Walker, for Inside the Palace, an exclusive look every week that takes you beyond the gates and brings you the very latest from those at the heart of the monarchy. Never miss a royal moment again. Sign up now. Go to gbnews.com/royal newsletter and get the latest straight to your inbox.
It's Patrick Christie's Tonight, and here we do things differently. It's explaining the absolute madness of this, doesn't it? It's explosive. I mean, this is very good. It's lively.
850. Your government sat there, Sean, and it did nothing.
It's controversial. And the Middle East has been in turmoil since before I was born. It's everything you need to kickstart your evening. Everyone's had their Weetabix tonight. I love to see it. That's Patrick Christie's Tonight, weeknights from 9 p.m. Only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
I'm Christopher Hope. From pop stars to politicians, I'll interview anybody in a pub who's got a political opinion. Join me every Friday on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube or gbnews.com, or wherever you get your podcasts. This is GB News, the People's Channel.
This is Britain's Newsroom, where your voice matters.
It's just astonishing. With expert analysis and honest opinion, we don't just keep you informed.
We bring you unique perspectives you won't see anywhere else.
Can't argue with any of that. When the news happens, it happens here.
On Britain's Newsroom, weekdays from 9:30 a.m.
Only on GB News.
In the GB Newsroom, we bring you the news as it happens.
With our team of dedicated journalists across the UK, we're ready to keep you up to date with what's happening every half an hour, every single day. Bulletins here on GB News, the People's Channel,
Britain's news channel.
(9:21) now, just as they did back on VE Day in 1945, people across the country will once again take to the streets, celebrating with music, bunting, street parties to mark 80 years since the end of war in Europe.
Well, who better to send to one of those street parties taking place in Melton Mowbray today than GB News presenters Emily Carver and Patrick Christie's. Morning, you two.
Oh, morning, both of you. Well, I am loving it here so far. We both are in Melton Mowbray. There's a lot going on behind us, isn't there? There's the old Angela caravan there from, was it 1926? 26. The car here from 1931.
There we go,
I think,
yes,
yeah, we are, remember that.
1931. We're basically transporting ourselves back in time to 1940s Britain as we prepare for the party that's going to be taking place here pretty much all afternoon.
Absolutely. I think we should just go and speak to some of the people who are setting up, right? So, I don't know if we might be able to just pan around here. See, there's a big table full of bunting. Every single window in every single shop has got a Union Jack in it, which you love to see. Love to see it. And who have we got here then? So I think we've got Sharon, have we, as well?
Sharon's over here.
Say hello to you, Sharon.
I'll
so
wedge myself
you're
here.
helping to get everything set up, are you? What are you expecting
Yeah.
from today?
Well, I hope the community come down and everybody joins in together, young and old, and we celebrate the 80 years.
Yeah.
And how much work has gone into getting this all together?
A lot. You know, town and state have been good. We've all done our own bits, so they've donated the tables and the chairs. We've got a DJ coming on all day. We want to get the children and, you know, all ages dancing together.
Fantastic
and
stuff.
enjoy the old songs.
Well, we'll be there. We'll definitely
What can
be
we
dancing.
expect from the DJ?
Well, it's going to be a lot of Vera Lynn, I think.
Excellent.
Dancing, yeah, you might see us dancing a little bit later on. And yeah, Melton Bid have provided a lot of bunting and flags for the town centre shops, which a lot of them are all open today. So we're all joining in celebrating.
And
Fantastic.
Are the pork pies as good as everyone says they are?
I have to say yes.
Yeah. Good.
We are in Melton, the home of the pork pies.
I think we're doing a tasting later.
Yeah, we are doing tasting. Well, look, we're going to be here all day. It's going to be a really joyous, fun-filled occasion here as we celebrate one of the most momentous days in British history. There's nowhere else better to do it. So thank you very much. We'll see you later.
All right, thanks, you two. Well, coming up at 9:30, of course, it's Britain's Newsroom live from the Palace with Andrew and Bev. Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning. Morning, you two.
Thank you for warming the seats for us.
And this is an extended Britain's Newsroom because we're
Yes,
here
it
for
is.
5.5 hours, so you don't need to be anywhere else today watching here with us. They're all sitting right behind us.
Well, you've got everything to cover today. I mean, you've got the parade, but you've got the flypast as well.
Can't wait for that. It's so exciting. Nigel Farage is coming in. At some point, we've got some really interesting guests.
Yeah. And we're just going to have the best commentators with us this morning and this afternoon as well to talk us through all the action on the parade and the flypast. It's going to be fantastic.
Lovely. All right. Look, we look forward to seeing it. Thank you very much indeed.
Let's get a check now on the weather.
Heavy showers first thing will be followed by a warm, cosy day. Boxed Boilers, sponsors of weather on GB News.
Good morning. Welcome to your latest GB News weather from the Met Office. There's a bit of a chilly start to Bank Holiday Monday today, but there's going to be plenty of sunshine on offer, but it will be feeling a little bit cooler than it did towards the end of last week, all thanks to high pressure across the UK. The only exception to the dry and sunny weather will be across the very far southeast of England, where we could see some showers, perhaps one or two of these heavy in places. But for the majority of us, plenty of dry weather around, plenty of blue skies and plenty of sunshine too. With that sunshine and with light winds, it's going to be feeling fairly pleasant. Temperatures in the south a little above average, 16, 17, perhaps 18 degrees. Close to average further north, though, around 13 or 14 degrees. And always feeling just a little bit cooler across the eastern coast with that onshore breeze. Across the northern half of the country, as we head through Monday evening, it's going to stay dry. One or two isolated showers affecting Shetland and Orkney through Monday evening. But for the most part, plenty of unbroken sunshine to end the day here. A little bit more cloud across parts of Northern Ireland, maybe Northern England too, but staying dry as we head through Monday evening. And any showers that we see across the very far south gradually starting to ease through Monday evening. So for much of England and Wales, it's going to be a dry end to Monday as well. As we then head through Monday night and into the start of Tuesday, plenty of dry weather around, plenty of clear spells on offer, and that likely to lead to quite a widespread frost across the country, perhaps as low as -3 or -4 in places. The exception again being the very far north and northwest of Scotland, where we could see a bit more cloud, but temperatures dropping down into the mid or high single figures, so that does mean quite a chilly start to the day on Tuesday across the board. But it will be a dry and bright start to the morning for many of us. A little cloud feeding in across eastern parts of England as we go through Tuesday morning, staying a little cloudy across the northwest too. But for much of us, plenty of sunshine, plenty of blue skies on offer again, and with those light winds, it'll be feeling pleasant in that sunshine. Again, in the south, we could see highs of 16, 17, perhaps 18 degrees, and even highs of 16 or 17 degrees across parts of Scotland and Northern Ireland too.
There will be a light breeze in the morning, leading to a warm front. Boxed Heat Pumps, sponsors of weather on GB News.
Crash Law 24 sponsors GB News Traffic and Travel Report.
Good morning. This is the latest AI travel news from gbnews.com. Traffic disruptions continue across parts of the UK. On the M4 eastbound at junction 37 near Pyle, resurfacing work is underway, causing the closure of the exit slip road and hard shoulder. Diversions are in place to manage flow. Warrington sees a broken down vehicle on the M6 northbound exit slip at junction 21A leading to the M6 2 east. This has resulted in the closure of one of the two lanes. Road users here should expect some delays. Thankfully, normal conditions are forecasted to return shortly. Be prepared for slow-moving traffic and plan your routes accordingly. Stay up to date for more travel news at gbnews.com.
Crash Law 24 sponsors GB News Traffic and Travel Report.
Sunday with Michael Portillo from 11, only on GB News.
The Surrey Hills International Music Festival provides emerging artists with an opportunity to perform before audiences. It also champions accessibility and music education for primary school children. With me now to preview what audiences will hear is the chair of Surrey Hills International Music Festival, Julia Pearson. Julia, lovely to see you. Thank you for coming on GB News.
Thank you, Michael.
We're talking about a festival that takes place in May.
We are indeed, every May.
And Surrey Hills, what are the towns that are involved?
The Surrey Hills, in fact, occupies fully a quarter of the county, quarter of Surrey. And it follows the chalk ridge from Farnham, above Guildford, Dorking, and on to Oxford. And the venues that we use are principally around the Guildford, Dorking areas of the Surrey Hills.
Are they, what, churches or concert halls or a bit of everything?
A little bit of everything, depending on the nature of the performers and what their needs are. So, for example, on the 6th of May, which is our opening concert, we have Betchworth Church, which is famous for 4 weddings and a funeral. So St Michael's Betchworth is the most beautiful church. That will be a performance space for the Hoody Menuhin School glistering students. We will also be using the West Horsley Place Stone Hall, which famously was inherited by Bamber Gascoigne, yes. And is an Elizabethan and Tudor building. And that opening concert will be with the London Consortium, who will be playing Elizabethan music from both the Elizabeth I and the period of Elizabeth